All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live and welcome to tonight's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race at the Texas Motor Speedway, the SpeedyCash.com 250 at Texas. 250-mile race around this mile-and-a-half racetrack in Fort Worth, Texas area. And here in this evening's race, we haven't seen many mile-and-a-half tracks on the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series schedule. In fact, this is only the second one of the year after the Las Vegas Motor Speedway race, as although the NASCAR Cup Series had gone to a track like Kansas Speedway, it's still race at Charlotte upcoming. This is the only chance for the Craftsman Truck Series here at the Texas Motor Speedway this year, and this is the second race of which, again, on a mile-and-a-half track. We've got a couple of Cup Series regulars in the field here this evening going against the regular Truck Series drivers in a tight points battle amongst the top of the standings overall. Corey Heim not racing tonight in the Craftsman Truck Series after trying to go for the Triple Truck Challenge, winning 2 out of 3 races as of the last time we had seen the Truck Series on track at Bristol. It's been a couple of off weeks leading between Bristol and Texas, but time to get this thing underway here shortly. Appreciate everybody tuning in. A little Friday night action. And actually, if you look at the Craftsman Truck Series schedule in the month of May, they'll be racing every Friday night. We'll be here for all the action on KRC. Beginning here tonight, 5 straight weeks of Truck Series action, and in those 5 weeks, all taking place on Friday afternoon or Friday night. So under the lights at Texas Motor Speedway this evening, going to be a fast, fun one. Fast by way of one of the fastest mile-and-a-half tracks on the NASCAR Cup Series schedule. This track has taken a lot of speed since its repave and reconfiguration back in 2017. It's going to be slick because of how edgy it is, a primarily one-groove racetrack with a flatter turns 1 and 2 with degrees of banking, and a more banked 3 and 4 with a couple of different grooves of racing on that end of the speedway. Very bumpy on that end as well. Definitely going to be a race that's going to be tough to pass on, so track position is going to mean a lot. We don't see a lot of tire fall off usually at Texas, though we have seen more in recent years than at years past, primarily with the truck and the O'Reilly series at the very least, but still not going to see a ton, so may see some pit strategy kind of faltering in with that. Most of these Truck Series races on mile-and-a-half tracks are 200 miles, so the fact that this is 250 is making for one of the longest Truck Series races of the season, and that alone could play into a little bit of strategy in and of itself. Our stage splits today will be 40 laps in Stage 1, 40 laps in Stage 2, and the final stage will make up the final 87 laps to get us to the finish. Usually you see about 30-30 and then the rest of the race, because the race is usually 50 miles shorter. So a little bit of a longer race this evening may cause for more pit stops, although with the fuel window itself being much longer than 40 full laps, they still will not have to pit for fuel or tire purposes in stages 1 and 2, so you'll probably see pit stops at the stage breaks. Unless we get a late caution in the stages, you could see some flip-flopping going on there, especially considering, again, we may see some track position strategy plays because of this being Texas Motor Speedway after all. But this has turned into one of the more fun tracks for the drivers on the schedule just because of how treacherous it is. It is a very, very fast racetrack. The mid-corner speeds here specifically are what makes this track as treacherous as it is. Cooler nighttime conditions versus daytime races for the O'Reilly and the Cup Series this weekend. So with the cooler track temps, there should be even more grip tonight versus the rest of the weekend. We'll go through the starting lineup for today as SpeedyCash.com 250 at the Texas Motor Speedway, and starting on row number 1 will be the front row motorsport teammates, the Thor Sport Racing teammates, the Fords of Ben Rhodes and Jake Garcia, both inside the chase cut line as we enter tonight's race. In row 2 will be Gio Ruggiero, second-year driver, and Cole Butcher, another Thor Sport truck at the front of the field. In row 3 will be Tanner Gray and one of the 3 Cup regulars, Kyle Busch, in the field. Busch, a winner already this season at Atlanta on the drafty mile-and-a-half. Stuart Friesen and points leader Chandler Smith will line up in row number 4. Grant Enfinger and second-place driver in the point standings, Caden Honeycutt, will be in row 5. Row 6 will be Carson Hocevar, the Cup Series race winner for Talladega last week, alongside Christian Eckes, who comes in top 5 in points entering this evening. Tyler Ankrum with Daniel Hemrick will line up in row number 7. Row 8 for Andres Perez, Connor Jones. Brendan Queen, the rookie, alongside Brandon Jones, full-time regular of the O'Reilly Series, in row number 9. And rounding out the top 20 in row number 10, Parker Kligerman in the 25 for Ram this evening, and Ty Majeski. William Sawalich, Dawson Sutton in row number 11. The third and final of the Cup regulars, Ross Chastain, a former Cup regular, Justin Haley, will be in row number 12. Row 13 for Corey LaJoie and Chris Wright. Tony Breidinger back in the field tonight alongside Minnie Tyrell in row 14. Clayton Green, Spencer Boyd in row 15. Behind them in row 16, Josh Reum and Frankie Muniz. Deeper in the field, Caleb Costner, Lane Riggs starting deep in row 17. Row 18, Corey Roper. That rounds out our 35 truck field for this evening, 18 rows of which. And going to be fun to see Lane Riggs try to come from the back of the pack. Of course, he is one of the drivers that always contends with these Truck Series races in recent years. And considering he starts at the very tail end of the field, even though it's a track that's hard to pass on, he's going to make things entertaining to watch here in this opening stage. Robert Goodrich, Bond 1771, Bam Hall, Corey A. Thanks for tuning in. Joe Rochester, welcome to the stream as well. Be sure to hit the like button on the stream if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe for more NASCAR content. We are live every NASCAR race weekend for Truck O'Reilly and Cup Series racing, so a little bit of a triple header duty this weekend between all three series, Friday through Sunday. Double header set of streams tomorrow on the channel with Cup Series practice and qualifying, as we are also live for Cup practice and qualifying every week, as well as the races across the top three series. And we'll be live for our next stream at 12:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow afternoon. Jamie Little, Joey Logano, Michael Waltrip in the broadcast booth. They're trying to dial up Kyle Busch before we get going green.
Take a look now at our SpeedyCash.com 250 starting grid. Starting on pole for the first time this year is Ben Rhodes, alongside his teammate Jake Garcia.
And on road 2, we have Cole Butcher. This is his best ever starting spot along Gio Gerio. We got a hot road 3 here. Kyle Busch, obviously one of the favorites to win tonight. And really good here a year ago, Tanner Gray in that 15 truck. He should be fun to watch.
Take a look at the rest of the field. See who stands out to you. He's got some good trucks throughout. You see Caden Honeycutt, the 11 truck. That team won this race last year, starting on row 5.
Chandler Smith there in row 4. We talked a lot about him earlier, our point leader. I just think there's so many stories throughout this field that can go to victory lane. Tom Majeski was really fast in the long run in practice, followed by back on row 10. And then always keep your eye on Corey LaJoy. He seems to find his way to the front. Absolutely. You look at row 17. This is one that stands out to me. Lane Riggs, one of the fastest trucks in practice, looks really strong. Had some issues in qualifying. He's going to be fun to watch tonight.
No doubt about it. Well, we have two pit reporters covering all the action tonight. Josh Sims and Caitlin Fincy. Good evening, Caitlin.
Good evening, JB. We'll keep an eye on that pole sitter you referenced, Ben Rhodes. Had a chance to talk with Ben earlier. He told me the focus right now, gaining points on the standings, where he is currently 8th. But he said it's been a bit of a weird year, working with 3 different crew chiefs. He now has found some continuity with Cale Gale on top of the pit box.
Former truck driver Cale Gale.
Depth to them, a lot of experience. He feels like they are very strong as a unit, and they are starting to make gains. Remember, he's on a 66 race winless streak. He could snap that from the pole tonight. Josh?
Well, Texas has not been kind to Lane Riggs and this 34 team. And his 2 starts, he failed to finish both races due to accidents in those. So he wanted to change all that coming here today. They had a really great practice session, but failed to complete his qualifying lap due to a fuel issue. They had to swap out the fuel pump. They're going to start in the back. Dylan Capella, their crew chief, told me they can get greedy early. They need to let this race come to them because they believe after that practice session, they have one of the best trucks in the field. They just got to get it to the front.
Thank you, Josh, for giving us that update. So not as bad as we maybe thought for Lane Riggs. We'll see if they got the issue covered. Michael, how about our Craftsman track description for tonight?
Well, I said in the opening how much I love this place, and if you look at the numbers, it's pretty benign, but it's far from that. A mile and a half in length, a lot of speed down the front straightaway into the flat turns 1 and 2. We're going to see a lot of action. Just a racetrack that I love, and I think the competitors love it as well. Joe, you've done pretty good here.
It's been a good place the last year for sure. How about our race analysis here? We got 167 laps. That's 250 miles around this mile and a half. Couple stages, both being 40 laps. The final stage, 87. You see the fuel when they're there. They didn't need it 55 laps. So you're going to have to split that final stage. That'll be their third set of tires, most likely. And when you pit in that final stage, is probably going to tell the story who's going to win this race.
Michael, how about the Poet Fuel Strategy, sponsored by Zero Carbon Bioethanol?
Well, Joey led to it. We're going to see a green flag stop if the caution doesn't fall in that final stage. How soon do you get those tires? And what do you do to make sure your Poet race strategy is correct?
Well, it was supposed to rain all morning. We thought maybe it'd be a washout, but it has been anything but. It's been overcast. It's been a little on the cool side, 63 degrees. Hasn't changed a lot from practice and qualifying. I think that's the key. See a little bit of wind out there, not as bad as it was in practice. And we expect clouds all night, but it's great.
How beautiful is this scene? You see the condos down off turn 2, the big Haas TV on the back straightaway. This makes me want to be a race car driver. This is fun.
Yeah, it's beautiful right now, but the tornadoes are brewing right now. I can tell you that. I'm not sure if these things are green.
We have 4 onboards for you tonight, bringing you the action from the driver's seat. Butterbean Queen, the 12 truck for Ram on board.
Good views, watching work that wheel. That's going to be all night long fun to watch.
Did a nice job in practice. Breaking units. Did get a chance to practice at all. Starting in the rear for Morgan and Morgan, who carry that on board for us. Chandler Smith talked about him being the point leader by a mere 1 point. He's carrying the SpeedyCash.com on board. Last but not least, the 88 of Ty Majeski carrying racing on board. Curious to see what the 88 has tonight. It seemed too overwhelmed by what they had earlier. Fans are on their feet and ready to go to kick off NASCAR weekend here at Texas Motor Speedway.
All right, here we go. Pace truck onto pit road. Green flag is in the air. We're underway in the SpeedyCash.com 250 from Texas Motor Speedway. Ben Rhodes in the 99 truck, the pole sitter for today's race, leads the field down into turns 1 and 2. A couple trucks was nearly looking to get to the inside, potentially 3 wide on this opening lap of the race, but not able to get alongside the leader into the first turn. And Ben Rhodes will lead down the back straightaway, side by side for second now between Rhodes' teammate Jake Garcia and Giro Ruggiero, who was able to at least get to the inside for second. One truck way up the hill. 81, losing several positions up out of the exit of turn 4, sliding up and a little bit wide out of the groove. Kyle Busch on the move. After starting in the back half of the top 10 in this one in the HendrickCars.com Chevrolet. A truck in which he has won a race in already in the Craftsman Truck Series level. Had a few starts this season. 1 victory. Carson Hocevar in the 77, trailing behind him, looking to go 3 wide to the inside on the front stretch. Tight move by Hocevar, nearly making contact with Stuart Friesen in the 52, who was sandwiched in the middle between the Spire Chevrolets. He was able to at least get by Stuart Friesen and outside drafts on Kyle Busch down the back straightaway as he looks to make another pass for position. Momentum off the high side out of turn 2 by Friesen. He's able to pull back alongside of Carson Hocevar. Kyle Busch has now got both of those trucks cleared in his rearview mirror. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, Ben Rhodes in the 99 still hanging on to the race lead. Jake Garcia overdriving the entry of turns 1 and 2 by a ton, trying to look to the inside of his teammate for the race lead. Was out of the gas for an extremely long period of time after pulling tight in the middle of turns 1 and 2, sliding up the racetrack and losing about a half a second of a difference now between himself and the front of the field. He's looking to have to gain that time back again. So Rhodes the leader at the end of the first 4 laps of today's race. 5 laps now in the books out of 167. Again, 250 miles our scheduled distance. For our race leader, Ben Rhodes, first pole in the last 30 starts in the Craftsman Truck Series. First pole at Texas in his 16 career starts here, and it's his 7th career pole all-time in the Craftsman Truck level. Ben Rhodes, of course, a 2-time Truck Series champion. Still looking for his first win of 2026, winless not only last season, but as a whole for ThorSport Racing, And looking to get back to victory lane for the first time yet in 2026 as well. Been close on numerous occasions. You can already see the speed increase as an organization as a whole from top to bottom this season over last. They've been qualifying well. They have ran pretty decent from start to finish. Rhodes has a couple top fives this season. Ty Majeski's led laps at several tracks, but have yet to get to victory lane yet in 2026. Good news is we're still very, very early in the season. Only 6 races in the books for the truck side versus the Cup in 10 races already. O'Reilly already 11 races into their season. Quite a few off weeks in the spring months for the Truck Series, including the last couple of weeks. Again, no race since Bristol for the Craftsman Truck Series, which was the week after Easter. It is now month of May, after 2 races in the calendar month of April. 2 in February, 2 in March. Every week they'll be racing in May from here all the way through Memorial Day weekend, and even the week after that. So Carson Hocevar was able to get by Kyle Busch several laps ago. Busch has dropped back a couple spots from the start, now to 8th place. Of course, Kyle Busch, the all-time winningest Truck Series driver in NASCAR history. Added another one to that list already this season. Even to this day, when we don't see Kyle Busch win hardly at all in the Cup Series anymore, he's still due for that one truck win a year, and he's won at Atlanta each of the last 2 seasons now. So here he goes, now trying maybe for another one tonight at Texas. I think he's got a better shot tonight than what he does at Bristol, or did at Bristol a few weeks ago when he raced that one. Struggled quite a bit in that event. Should be much more competitive on the 1.5 miles, as we've seen at Aspire Motorsports. Of course, Raja Karuth winning on a 1.5 miles with them last season at Las Vegas. Carson Hocevar at Kansas as well on another 1.5 miles last season. Friesen getting tight in the wake of the dirty air behind Kyle Busch. And Caden Honeycutt's got a gigantic run on him out of turn 2. Slips out of line, middle of the back straightaway, and challenges on that bottom lane for 9th place into turns 3 and 4. And Honeycutt will take the spot from Friesen. All right, a little bit of a cool night in Fort Worth, Texas at the Texas Motor Speedway. Commercial break as we're about 11 laps into today's race. The top 10 in the running order holds with Ben Rhodes in the lead, Jake Garcia second, Gio Ruggiero in third, Chandler Smith fourth, Tanner Gray rounds out the top 5 and 5th. Then you got Cole Butcher in 6th, Carson Hocevar 7th, Kyle Busch in 8th, Caden Honeycutt 9th, and Stuart Friesen rounding out the top 10. Thanks for listening live right here on KRC. Full flag-to-flag coverage of tonight's race continues. JoJo, thanks for tuning in. Terry Lewis as well. Some newcomers into the stream after I checked the chat the first time already. You can vote for who you think is going to win tonight's Truck Series race as usual in our chat poll, which will be open until the end of Stage 2. So you have until the end of Stage 2 to vote for who you think is going to win tonight. I put all the Cup regulars in the field in the chat poll, so you can vote between Kyle Busch, Carson Hocevar, Ross Chastain, or somebody other than those 3 drivers. 43% of you say somebody other than those 3 will win, which would be a truck regular in the field, or Brandon Jones maybe, of course, an O'Reilly regular as well. 24% of Kyle Busch, 14% of Carson Hocevar, 19% taking Ross Chastain. Surprise Hocevar doesn't have more votes, especially with recent success, both at Spire and in the Truck Series in recent years. Fresh off the win in the Cup Series at Talladega last week, his first career win at that level. The lead is about a half a second still for Ben Rhodes over Jake Garcia, since Garcia tried to make a pass attempt on lap 4 in turns 1 and 2 for the race lead. Slipped back to about that deficit. Hasn't really gotten back to the back bumper of the 99 cents. About an 0.8 of a second lead over Gio Ruggiero in third. Chandler Smith is 1.1 seconds back in fourth. Tanner Gray 1.9 seconds out of the lead in fifth. So those are the intervals between those top 5 positions. Still caution-free as we're 7.5 minutes in. 40 laps in Stage 1. 15 of them have been completed so far. If you're just tuning in for the first time, be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so on the stream. Subscribe for more NASCAR content. We are live every NASCAR race weekend. for Truck O'Reilly Cup Series Racing. Four streams this weekend, 3 nights / days of streaming for NASCAR at Texas. During the full screen commercial break that just took place, showing another pass for position as Kyle Busch had a big moment off of turn 4. Enough so that he actually lost the race. Truck slid all the way up the track into the wall off of turn 4. Busch ended up losing a couple of positions and falls back to 10th after that slap against the fence. A little bit of right front fender damage, but he is battling back on Stuart Friesen just a couple laps later for 9th place again. Kyle Busch has won in his last 4 starts at Texas Motor Speedway in the Craftsman Truck Series. But to go for number 5 here tonight, he's got his work cut out for him. That truck looks very, very tight. As he gets way tight up out of turn 2 again, had another big lift. And we've seen several drivers in dirty air do that already. And now Busch, I think, is very slow and is coming to pit road for an unscheduled stop. He may have a right front tire down. Let's listen in. Yep. It is a very early going in the race, but not a great start for Kyle Busch after making contact with the wall up out of turn 4 after washing up the racetrack. And it took a few laps for that tire to go flat after rubbing on the right front with the fender caved in just a bit. Crew was able to pull that apart. They got 4 fresh Goodyears, and he's back out on the racetrack, but now a lap down. So unfortunately, going from about 8th place to a lap down for Kyle Busch, and we'll see if he can battle to get back on the lead lap at some point in time. Probably not going to happen at the end of stage 1, considering that there should be lap traffic at the tail end of the field. Already a couple trucks going to lap down on top of Kyle Busch would be Caleb Costner and Frankie Muniz, a few other trucks at the tail end of the lead lap as I speak. As we're just past halfway through stage 1. Lap 22 of 40 in the first stage. That was not supposed to pause. My apologies.
Halmar Friesen Racing truck. This is the same team that won last race at Bristol with Christopher Bell. So as they tend to Corey Roper, get him safely out of the truck. Here's the incident. Around goes turn number 4.
All tough break under caution for the first time today. Corey Roper going for a spin on the racetrack, and in doing so, he'll be falling off of the lead lap. He was already at the tail end of the lead lap before the spin, so it wasn't that far out in front of the race leaders. But he is in for some repairs to that number 62 Friesen Hallmar Racing truck. First caution of the night, and it comes in the back half of stage number 1. This could open pit road up for some possible strategies. Would not be shocked if that is the case. Wade, thanks for tuning in. Daniel Perry Rally, thanks for tuning in as well. Texas Motor Speedway seems to be the one place it's not raining around here. Yeah, it's been raining at my place off and on like all week. The last week and a half, really. Since last week on like Friday, I have noticed that it's pretty much rained at least at some point in time during the day. We've had quite a bit of rain here. Attending any races besides Michigan. That's the plan, but not going to guarantee any specific dates that I will be getting to. Miss the gaming streams? I know you do. I know you do, Wade. We'll get back. We'll get back to there eventually. It's just hard to put a timetable on it. Actually, I almost missed the start of the stream because I passed out earlier today. Sleeping. These Friday streams are tough for me with my new work schedule, so you'll have to bear with me. I've been up since about 2:15 in the morning today, so as soon as this is over, I will be crashing. Long days. Not usually up this late anymore. Which makes it tough for the gaming streams because I think when I get back to them, I'm going to have to find a way of doing them. If I'm going to do them consistently, I'm going to have to find a way of doing them earlier in the day and hopefully get enough people to tune in while it's actually live for when it does happen. Up to 23 votes in the chat poll for who you think is going to win tonight's race. Other has dropped down a bit. It's down to 39% to win. Was at 43, I believe, before the start of the race. Got pit road open.
Interesting place. Sometimes the sway bar might get into the sidewall of the tire. It's kind of odd.
Well, Saturday night is baseball night on Fox, and this week it's showtime. 20, the two-time champion Dodgers versus breakout fish Short Walker and the Cardinals. Or it's Tigers Rangers. That's tomorrow at 7 Eastern, only on Fox. Live on this weekend around, but of course right here in Texas. That's
And Kyle taking the opportunity to get his lefts on this truck. Come back in, pull that right front fender a little.
Yeah, they took rights only during the green flag stops, so now they're coming down for lefts only.
It's not running. He's got to go fight and get that lucky dog. Yeah, he's definitely the fastest truck is a lap down, Joey, and we only have just over 10 laps to the end of the stage. So I think Kyle believes that if they make these adjustments, get those left side tires, he can get that lap back and get back in contention. The truck was plenty fast enough even after the contact.
Certainly taking their time with Kyle Busch. Meanwhile, up front, all is the same. The top 18 stayed out there.
Really, really great start to this race for Ben Rose.
Trouble, guys, for the 98. Jake Garcia had trouble on the right rear. He was 6th before stops, and now he's 29th.
Yikes.
A lot of trouble. Pit stop.
Yeah, that's a lot of positions lost for Jake Garcia. So much for qualifying as well as he did. Usually that really benefits the first stage of any truck race throughout the season because of how short these races are compared to the Cup Series. Therefore, the stage splits are a lot shorter, especially in stages 1 and 2. Big emphasis on qualifying well, and he was able to do that, putting his 98 truck on the front row, but now all the way at the back after a slow pit stop. So for the restart, we've got Ben Rhodes in the race lead. Chandler Smith is up to second. Gio Ruggiero third. Carson Hocevar fourth. Fifth is Caden Honeycutt. Then Stuart Friesen in sixth. Seventh is Cole Butcher. Grant Enfinger eighth. Tyler Ankrum in ninth. And Daniel Hemrick rounds out the top 10. 11th and 12th, the Nice Motorsport trucks of Ross Chastain and Andres Perez. And we will have about 12 laps to go on the restart to begin stage 1. Actually 12 to go now, so 11 laps to go in stage 1 when we get back racing again. Lights are out on the pace truck. They will be going green this time. Bye. And Ben Rhodes electing the inside of road number 1 for the ensuing restart. Carson Hocevar up to the outside of road number 2. Look out for him. He went 3 wide in the initial start to bypass Stuart Friesen and Kyle Busch and to move in the back half of the top 10. So already making aggressive, fast maneuvers. We'll see if he can do another one here. Series points leader Chandler Smith with a couple stage wins already this season. Ben Rhodes trying to keep the track position. He's led every lap in this race so far. Green flag back in the air at lap number 29. Conclusion of which, now lap 30. Hocevar up the middle 3 wide trying to go for second place. Thought he might go 3 wide again. Did not think it was going to be on the inside lane. And sweeps to the inside, nearly making contact with the back of Gio Ruggiero's 17 truck. He is clear of the points leader of Chandler Smith. Man, Hocevar is putting on a show in these early laps, and he is very tightly racing the 17 truck, taking no prisoners here tonight. And a big run coming from behind by Caden Honeycutt, but an awkward angle into turns 1 and 2 as he holds to the inside of Chandler Smith, but still able to get that truck to stick down to that white line, and Honeycutt's through to 4th. He's come so close in the last couple of races to getting that first career truck win, but a little bit too short, finishing 2nd in 2 of the last 2 races, and now looking at another top 5 run here tonight. Consistency is key under this points format. There's a reason he's 2nd in points and only 1 point out of 1st on Chandler Smith, the guy he just passed. So that's a big pass here in this stage 1 with just a few laps to go. Rhodes out to about a half a second lead. Hocevar is into 2nd after that 3 wide maneuver. Picked off 1 car with that pass 3 wide on Chandler Smith, and then it took him an extra corner or 2 to get back by Gio Ruggiero in the 17 as well. Clean air is king here at Texas, though, for Ben Rhodes. Credit to him qualifying on the pole, nailing these start/restarts, and here he is, still leading after 32 laps. He's led them all. Bounced around in the middle of 3 wide as the 14 truck. I believe Minnie Tyrell in the 14. Running just inside the top 20. He was 3 wide middle in the front stretch. It looked like he made a little bit of contact with the trucks that were around him. Hocevar's got a huge head of steam down into turns 1 and 2. Looking to attack with a flatlining entry into turns 1 and 2, but that doesn't work out very well for him. He's going to lose a lot of ground. As aggressive as Hocevar has been, I think it bit him that time by. Doesn't have to worry about really using the tires up at a track like Texas as much. Maybe in a very long run like in stage 3, he might have to back off of it a little bit if we don't get any cautions in the final stage, knowing they're going to have to take that run almost all the way out before pitting. But with the caution and the extra caution laps and this already being a short stage as it is, Truck Series really plays into Carson Hocefar's effect, where he can be aggressive and not have to worry about losing too much of that Goodyear rubbering. Ross Chastain also making some bold moves in the back half of the top 10 now as he made a huge block on Lane Riggs on the back straightaway while already to the inside of Cole Butcher in the 13. He's able to sweep by Butcher for 8th place through turns 3 and 4. And Riggs, who was blocked down the back straightaway, really hurt his angle into 3. That last time by, Ty Majeski able to stay to his outside. Big moment for Majeski. Has to swing by his teammate Cole Butcher, who had a bigger moment right in front of him in the center of the corner. Lane Riggs gets by both trucks on the bottom lane of the racetrack. And Riggs, after starting 34th out of 35 trucks in Stage 1, already up to 9th. We'll keep an eye on Lane Riggs going forward. He looks bad fast here this evening. So does Carson Hocevar as he looks for the lead to the inside of turns 1 and 2. I think he had a shot to get to the inside of Rhodes had the lap truck not gotten in the way, but good pick by Rhodes. Got through the lap traffic cleanly, survives for at least another lap. Hocevar not being a regular in the Truck Series for the points-paying efforts here. We'll have to see if he's able to make this pass on Ben Rhodes. This stage is way more important for Rhodes, who is a regular in this series. A few bad finishes in a row for Ben. A couple DNFs in the last few races had dropped him from about 2nd in points all the way back to 8th. And only 10 trucks make the chase in the Truck Series at the end of the regular season. I know we're only 6 races in, but it's only a 16-race regular season, so got to capitalize on having a good run, like in a race here this evening. Qualified well. Unlike his teammate Jake Garcia, he's still up at the front. Carson Hocevar really gets off turn 4 much better than Ben Rhodes. Utilizes the draft well through the middle of that front stretch. Did not overdrive the entry to turns 1 and 2 this time. Went to the higher lane through turns 1 and 2. Carries huge momentum down the track into 3 and 4 on a block by Ben Rhodes. He'll hold on to the lead through the center of the corner. Here comes Hocevar on another attack out of turn 4 again. 1 lap to go in Stage 1 at the line. Nose to tail are the top 2 in the field. Ben Rhodes and Carson Hocevar as they battle for the lead into turns 1 and 2 now. Tight entry for Carson Hocevar way up the racetrack after a huge aero block by the 99 of Ben Rhodes. Puts a bit of separation between himself and the 77. One last gasp for Hocevar through 3 and 4, but I think he's a little bit too far back. He's going to get off turn 4 better than Rhodes, but Rhodes has too much of an advantage. And blocking well enough was Ben Rhodes on this narrow and fast racetrack as he wins Stage 1, leading all 40 laps from the pole. Carson Hocevar second in the stage. Giro in third by a short margin over his teammate Caden Honeycutt, and points leader Chandler Smith rounds out the top 5 and 5th. 6th place, a good start to the evening for Stuart Friesen. 7th for Grant Enfinger. Lane Riggs from 34th to 8th in the first stage. Ty Majeski up to 9th, and Ross Chastain sits in 10th after starting 23rd, so he's on the move as well. And that is our Stage 1 break. Top 10 all receiving points, 1 point per position, 10 points for first, all the way down to 1 point for 10th. Pretty solid start here tonight for the Truck Series at Texas. Austin Sullivan, thanks for tuning in. As well as many others. If you haven't been in the chat yet and I haven't been able to shout you out, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button on the stream so we can try to get to our goal of 50 likes here this evening. We will also be live for the O'Reilly and NASCAR Cup Series practice and qualifying efforts tomorrow afternoon from Texas. Practice and qualifying for the Cup side will begin at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Eastern for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race. It will also be live for the NASCAR Cup race at 3 p.m. Eastern Sunday afternoon for our main event of the race weekend. Already the 11th NASCAR Cup race of the season upcoming. I want to see where we're at on likes right now. Our goal again to get to 50 here tonight. And we are currently sitting at 28, I believe, so we're a little bit past halfway to the goal. Thanks for everybody hitting that like button who has done so far.
Ben Rhodes, nice.
Oh, 52 truck of Stuart Friesen swung wide out of his pit box while Hocevar and Ben Rhodes were already side by side, creating a 3-wide situation. And with how wide the 52 went, 77 swerved wide to miss him. Slight contact was made with Ben Rhodes leaving the pits, but I think both trucks are going to be okay. I don't think they made significant contact enough to the wheel area of the race trucks to maybe cause any kind of a tire rub, but we shall see. And we'll also wait to see what the leaderboard's going to look like after everything is cycled on pit road. Second wave of pit stops today. We saw half the field roughly pit during the caution in stage 1, setting up an 11-lap restart to the end of the first stage, and now lap 40, the stage break. Had some trucks that flipped the field that stayed out during the stage break caution because they had pitted earlier. Some of those maybe pitted for tires on that first pit stop, came back in to top off on fuel, and then moved their way out. And that's why we saw some positions lost for the likes of Carson Hocevar and Ben Rhodes, who were first and second at the end of the stage. A couple of 2-tire strategy calls as well for others. So Brandon Jones going to be the leader on the restart, the one truck for Tricon Garage, full-time series regular in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. The only O'Reilly regular in the field here tonight, pulling double duty this weekend. Tanner Gray will be on the front row for the restart, the 15 truck as well. His teammate, Parker Kligerman, up to third now, a multi-time Truck Series winner. William Sawalich in fourth, another Tricon Garage truck. So 3 of those trucks on a strategy that they stayed out during the stage break to try to get up inside the top 5. Ty Majeski will be in 5th. He was first off of pit road, and Chris Wright will be in 6th. Deeper in the field, also trying a little bit of pit strategy of his own. Michael Turner, thanks for tuning in. Got a new car on Wednesday. I saw that. Yeah, you commented. I forget where I saw that comment, but I did see it. I think it was under the community tab post. Congrats. Always a cool thing when you're getting a new vehicle. Something fun to look at for the upcoming weeks. Maybe fun to ride or drive along as well. Keeping an eye on my Detroit Pistons tonight, who are in Game 6 of the first round of the NBA playoffs. Struggling against the Orlando Magic as the number 1 seed. Down 3-1 in the series. They won Game 5 the other night pretty handily, and they were down by 22 at halftime right when this race started tonight, and they've cut the deficit down to 11. So, still a third quarter. They're making a run. Curious to see if they're going to get all the way back in it or not. Their offense has just not been clicking. A lot of turnovers in this series. Not fun to watch as a Detroit fan. Garcia that had contact with Hocevar, not Rhodes. Thank you for that. Yeah, the 98 tried some pit strategy to get him back in the game after that slow pit stop earlier. And Hocevar, a pretty slow 4-tire stop. I know there were some that did not take 4 tires that beat him out of the pits, but he also lost some spots to those who did take 4. 17.1 second pit stop for the 77 crew. Not good.
Stage 1 points, Ben Rhodes. So far, so perfect for him. So far, no points, obviously. On to the Cup Series, cannot take home points.
But the 77 truck does for the owner standings, though.
Points leader said he felt extremely good about that 38 truck, but they did note a puncture on the right rear tire. So Chandler obviously right now occupying that 16th spot on the racetrack, guys.
But he's got a fast truck, Caitlin, so luckily that the puncture happened as we came to the pit road. Just an update on Kyle Busch. I said he was in the free pass position, but because Brennan Queen got black flag for the restart violation, he came out ahead of Kyle, and he got the free pass. So Busch, at this moment, is still a lap down.
Ooh, that's tough.
To get back in the game, they worked on that truck extensively with that right side damage during this last stop. So I don't think his night's over yet if he could just get back on the lead lap.
All right, so 5 trucks stayed out. The
The longer it takes, the harder it's going to be to get a good finish, though.
2, actually 3 trucks.
Especially here.
Their time adjusted. Lane Riggs and the 98 of Jake Garcia. And let's get an update on Ross Chastain, Josh.
Well, Jamie, we always expect Ross Chastain to be a factor when he hops in the truck. Practice, I caught up with him after and talked about that truck being super tight. They tried to get ahead of it in terms of adjustments before that race. Take over the radio during that first run, said still the same issue as practice. Wing too tight, made some adjustments during that last stop to hope they can get Ross in the game in terms of this race, guys.
Thanks, Josh. So Ross Chastain will restart 15th.
Still feel like he could be a factor. He gets the right adjustments. We know what kind of shoe he is and how aggressive he can get as well. Be fun to watch some of our early leaders come through the pack here. This has been a real entertaining race to me.
And the strategy and the racing itself on the racetrack is kind of entertaining as well, but the strategy and a whole new cast of characters, really the top 5 trucks. You know, Majeski looked like he was pretty good, right? He was trying to get through. We talked a lot about Lane Riggs tonight, how good he's been. Ben Rhodes obviously led a lot of laps in the first stage, winning the stage. It'll be an interesting first, 7 or 8 laps here.
We haven't talked about Brandon Jones. They will lead him on the inside here as we approach the Echo Park Automotive restart zone. Brandon Jones, Tanner Gray, teammates for Tricon Garage, Parker Clearman for Ram.
All right, green flag back in the air after 7 laps of caution during the stage break. We've got about 33 laps to go in stage 1. Green flag back in the air for the 3rd consecutive restart. Carson Hocevar going 3 wide, this time on the outside. And he's picking up numerous spots in doing so. And he is going to get at least 4 or 5 positions plus through the center of turns 1 and 2. High side at Texas, no problem for Carson Hocevar. 3 wide and tight in the middle of the pack just behind him, though. As they work their way back through turns 3 and 4. Already Hocevar's to the outside of the 5th place truck at Ty Majeski working by him on the front stretch. And he's bringing Lane Riggs with him, who also has a bad, fast race truck tonight. Hocevar and Riggs had a great battle at Kansas last year on a 1.5 mile track in a late going, and Carson Hocevar has got an absolute rocket ship right now. All the confidence in the world after a win at Talladega last week, and he is showing out here this evening. By far been the best driver on restarts, aggressive but clean at the same time. Risk versus reward very high, but the reward has been there for Carson Hocevar so far this evening when taking those risks. To the outside for 2nd place through turns 1 and 2 as he beats Tanner Gray. Down the backstretch and clear for that spot. Brandon Jones 1 spot ahead is the leader. Lane Riggs for third in turns 3 and 4, trying to keep a close pace to the back of the 77 of Hocevar. So far, he's been able to do so. If Carson can get that clean air advantage, though, we'll see if he can maybe drive away from Riggs. Right now, unable to do so as they're both challenged in dirty air. Hocevar trying to make a quick pass for the lead in turns 1 and 2, but he's blocked off by Brandon Jones, and that's going to cost him a bit of time. Hocevar wiggles up the racetrack, and here comes the 34 of Lane Riggs within a truck length or so behind him, and he'll attack for second, although the caution is out behind as Cole Butcher has spun and crashed in turns 1 and 2. Backs it into the outside wall. We're under caution for the third time.
The truck series, late on the race, we're down, trying to figure out these mile and a half. It's a different
This one just so treacherous. The room for error at Texas, very minimal.
Gets into his but he saves it.
Yeah, just down on the bottom, and these trucks, man, they squish so much when they hit the wall. Look how soft the back of this thing is. It's really crushed a lot.
Right. To an early end. 20 more races still to come here at stage 2.
And Doug. All right. Under caution for the third time today. First in the early going of stage number 2. As Cole Butcher has gone for a spin in turns 1 and 2. Backed it up against the outside retaining wall. Smashed the back end of that race truck, and he's probably going to be done. Brandon Jones still in the lead after that alternate pit strategy during the stage break as he pitted under the caution late in stage 1. Has 11 laps older tires than that of Carson Hocevar and Lane Riggs, who were rocketing through the field on the restart, especially Hocevar, but Riggs was keeping very close proximity to the back of that 77 Spire Chevrolet, and they are the class of the field right now. Not only on the restarts, but the long-run speed as well. Hocevar finishing second in the first stage, and although Riggs was 8th, he did start 34th at the tail end of the field. And I'd almost argue Riggs looks a little bit quicker than Carson right now. Because although Hocevar was making those flashy passes, Lane Riggs was not only right there behind him, but it almost looked like he was catching him in the process of making their way through the field. All right, so Brandon Jones leads. Carson Hocevar in the second place position. Lane Riggs in third. Tanner Gray is now in fourth place, and William Sawalich rounds out the top 5 as we're under yellow. We'll take our first ad break of the stream. You're listening live on KRC. Full flag-to-flag coverage of tonight's Craftsman Truck Series race continues. Still got a long ways to go yet in this one. So our Craftsman Truck Series race continues at the Texas Motor Speedway. Take a look at the point standings for the first time tonight. Chandler Smith leads it, and you can see that scrolling across the top of the screen throughout tonight's broadcast. 1 point lead, very minuscule over Caden Honeycutt. Corey Heim, who's not in the field here tonight, minus 4 points. He's missed 2 races of the 6 so far this season, but still sitting pretty high, and that's after a DNF at Bristol as well. Lane Riggs sitting also minus 4, tied for third in points with Heim. Heim's got a win, though, so he owns the tiebreaker. Christian Eckes is minus 17, fifth in points. Gio Ruggiero minus 21 in sixth. Ty Medeski minus 26, minus 27 for Ben Rhodes. 27 points separating the top 8 points after 6 races. That is very, very, very tight amongst the top portion of the field. And only the top 10 make the chase. A little bit of a bigger drop to Jake Garcia at 9th, and Justin Haley currently rounds out 10th. He has a 4-point cushion over Stuart Friesen, who comes in first driver out, minus 4 points. Minus 7 for Tyler Ankerman, the 18, who made the playoffs last season. Tanner Gray is sitting minus 21 and minus 24 for rookie Brennan Butterbean Queen.
Out there again, so we're getting tomorrow just qualifying, or if we're gonna get started small again.
We're looking forward to seeing that car on Sunday. It's the 400 coming up 3:30 Eastern on FS1.
There we are again. Right there. Circling again. Hope you're still ready. There we go. That's the one.
On the shot.
What a great season it's been for NASCAR. The Cup Series has been so much fun to watch. Our truckers are always full of excitement and energy. Having a good time.
See what else they have in store, guys, because Carson Hocevar is going to restart on the front row for the first time.
Well, I would guess that Brandon Jones, what do you think, gives him the top? But for I've seen what he's done on the top, I like my Brandon, I take the top. It's gonna matter.
No, I don't think it will either, Joey.
Here, and I think the question, maybe the tougher question, is late rings. If the leader does choose the bottom, do you choose to follow him, or do you choose to follow Hocevar? Do you know he's going to go fast on the start?
Well, Brandon Jones's tires have 15 more laps on them, so we know that's a benefit of us. And I think wherever Brandon goes, Carson goes the other way, and I think wherever Carson goes, that's where Lane Riggs goes. He's followed him to the
You're
front.
about to know.
He followed him to the front. Surely he's going to keep following him, right?
Just shows the bottom.
All right.
Caitlin, what are you hearing on the one truck, Brandon Jones?
Yeah, I talked to crew chief Jeremy Donnelly earlier. He told me he really enjoys the challenge of working with all of these different drivers that's been in that truck. He said it makes your arsenal of information just bigger. But he also said with Brandon, they're trying to get him acclimated back to the series. Obviously, he hasn't raced in a truck since Pocono in 2025. So this will be Brandon's first of 4 races for him this year. But Jeremy also saying, with us not racing for points, we can be creative in strategy plays to try and get a win. Josh?
One issue for the 91 of Christian Heckes came into the radio reporting a battery issue. They were just on
Oof.
stressing, changed it out, came back over the radio afterwards, said, hey guys, we still have that same voltage issue. Said the alternator doesn't appear to be charging, so things not going well for the 91 right now.
Hate to see that for Christian Eckes.
Yeah.
Dominant here 2 years ago, Michael. Then he went to the O'Reilly Series for a season, and it just hasn't been the same yet. We saw him have a great run 2 weeks ago at Bristol.
Very talented racer, though. He'll get it back. And just remember also, put Kyle Busch back on the lead lap, see if he can climb through the field.
Kyle Busch will restart 28th here, but all eyes are on the front of the pack as the drivers approach the Echo Park Automotive restart zone. Brandon Jones, Carson Hocevar, Lane Riggs, Tanner Gray.
All right, we're going to try this again. Another restart at it for Carson Hocevar and Lane Riggs, who are both lined up on the outside lane. Actually, Hocevar on the outside of row 1, Riggs on the inside of row 2, trying to push the one truck clear so he can get himself out in front of Carson. Slipping up the racetrack on the inside of row number 2 is the 5, going all the way near the wall and stacking up a few trucks behind them in line, but no incident as we still are on the green flag run. This is a tight battle between Lane Riggs and Carson Hocevar, 2 drivers that will never give an inch. Lane Riggs is going to take the spot from Carson. Ben Rhodes trying to sneak back in there for third to the inside of Hocevar as he's getting held up just a bit. Great restart from the inside of row 2 for Lane Riggs. He gets by probably the truck that he's going to have to battle with for the race win here tonight. And now quickly trying to get by the 1 of Brandon Jones, but Jones was not cleared off turn 2. Riggs has to try to block Carson Hocevar. He's more worried about the 77 than that race leader and the 1 of Brandon Jones, who's on older tires and not able to pace the field quite as well as those others. So the battle for second could be the battle for the eventual race lead, but Riggs looking to maybe lose that anyway. Hocevar had a run up out of turn 4. 3 wide to the inside for second. Now goes Ben Rhodes with a dive bomb of his own, and it's going to be Carson Hocevar with the whole shot instead up out of turn 2. Carried a huge deal of momentum. He's all clear, at least for second. got to the outside of Brandon Jones on the 1. Jones trying to force him a bit wide through the middle of turns 3 and 4. Hanging on that left rear corner panel, trying to side draft and slow down the 77. Tight battle for the lead again into turn 1. And 3 wide for the lead. To the bottom goes Ben Rhodes a second time into the first turn. This time he's going to get through to second. Hocevar to the lead. Jones in the middle has to let out of the gas and drop back on those older tires. And Lane Riggs brushes the fence up out of turn 2 as he makes slight contact with the wall. This race has been all over the place here tonight. Wild restarts, wild racing all night long. It has been a thriller through 60 laps. And we still got a ways to go. I mean, the aggressiveness here in tonight's race on an all-time high. And we're seeing a lot of mistakes by drivers because of how slippery this racetrack is. Just a thin layer of grip. So Carson Hocevar leads for the first time now. Ben Rhodes sits in second. Ross Chastain is in third place. Fourth for Lane Riggs. The difference between Hocevar and Rhodes right now only a couple tenths of a second. About 4 tenths back to Chastain in third, and Riggs is 7 tenths of a second off the lead. Top 4 within a second, and only 1.1 seconds back still is Brandon Jones in fifth. First running of those that stayed out of the pits during the stage break. Tanner Gray, same strategy as his teammate, is in 6th place. 7th is Caden Honeycutt, who ended up taking tires. William Sawalich also stayed out during the stage 1 break. He's in 8th, 2 seconds out of the lead. Honeycutt, by the way, 1.7 back. 2.3 second disadvantage to 9th place for Grant Enfinger. And 2.6 seconds off the lead also is Gio Ruggiero, rounding out the top 10. Just past halfway through stage 2 now, as we have about 17 laps to go in the second stage.
And Gray hanging right there in the 6th.
The Aaron's Dream Machine up there for Lane Riggs. 15 laps to go now in stage number 1 with Carson Hocevar still out in front. We'll go through the full field running order here for the first time tonight. So with Hocevar in the lead, second is Ben Rhodes, Lane Riggs in third, Ross Chastain fourth, Brandon Jones still rounds out the top 5 in fifth. The only change there was Riggs passing Chastain for that third spot moments ago. Then 6th through 10th is Tanner Gray in 6th, Caden Honeycutt 7th, William Sawalich in 8th, Grant Enfinger 9th, Gio Ruggiero rounds out the top 10. That still stays the same. 11th is Parker Kligerman, Chandler Smith in 12th, Tyler Ankrum 13th, Ty Majeski 14th, and 15th is Connor Jones. 16th, Stuart Friesen, Justin Haley 17th, Daniel Hemrick 18th, Andres Perez in 19th, and Kyle Busch 20th is back on the lead lap. He got the free pass during that last caution. Dawson Sutton in 21st, Chris Wright 22nd, 23rd for Jake Garcia, Brendan Queen 24th, and Minnie Tyrell in 25th. 26th, Clayton Green, Spencer Boyd 27th, Tony Breidinger 28th, Josh Ream 29th, and 30th. First truck a lap down is Christian Eckes. Remember, he made an unscheduled pit stop back at stage 1. In 31st, Frankie Muniz, 32nd, Caleb Costner, and looks like Corey LaJoy, 4 laps down in 33rd, had an issue of some kind. I believe they made a battery change, if I remember correctly, in that 10-team. Corey Roper went for a spin at stage 1. He's 34th on track, but 7 laps down. And Cole Butcher just crashed, and he is currently off the track in the garage in 35th. So that rounds out the full 35 truck lineup in the SpeedyCash.com 250 at Texas Motor Speedway. 12 laps to go in stage number 2. We'll take another short break. You're listening live on KRC to our full flag-to-flag coverage of tonight's Craftsman Truck Series race at Texas. Old Man 2599, thanks for tuning in. Seems every time Kyle gets in ride, something happens. Not just the same Kyle anymore. Yeah, I mean, RCR obviously not the greatest equipment in the NASCAR Cup level, but Austin Dillon's higher in the point standings than Kyle Busch even this season. So it's as much as Kyle's not liking his ride at RCR with things not going well and changes made constantly at crew chief, a new one at the start of the year, and now he's got a new one as of this upcoming week as well. And just constant changes obviously not working well for him. The adaptation to the next gen car, I'm sure it's a little bit of everything, but Kyle Busch is getting older. He's in his early 40s, and we haven't seen that prime Kyle Busch in a while. And even in the truck series, I mean, we have not seen him compete for wins hardly at all, minus the super speedway that he's been running at Atlanta in recent years. And he's been able to win that, so it just goes to show he is still in there. But Carson Hocevar, his teammate here tonight, looks way above and beyond faster than Kyle Busch. I mean, Busch was running between 8th and 10th before he made contact with the wall, so a good night, but not a typical Kyle Busch Truck Series night that we were used to seeing for so long. Lane Riggs is back up to second place post-commercial break, and he's putting a charge on race leader Carson Hocevar. Riggs has not been able to lead a lap yet today after starting 34th. His fastest lap of the race is on lap 50 in stage 2. Same for Carson Hocevar, in fact, up at the front of the field. Ross Chastain ran his fastest lap at lap 58 in this race, which I believe was just off of this last restart. He's the only driver in the top 5, at least, to have his fastest lap of the race since this second restart to stage 2. Only one in the top 10, and as I'm scrolling down the leaderboard, looks like only Chastain and Justin Haley, Joshua Hume are the only lead lap trucks to have their fastest laps after this last restart. Riggs has time to get by Carson Hocevar. He doesn't have to be too aggressive too early. Hocevar's going to be wide, trying to block for that race lead, not wanting to give it up. 7 laps to go still in stage 2. Ben Rhodes was able to get his truck way wide to try to hang on to that lead back in stage 1, and we're seeing that out of Hocevar. And a quick caution in turns 1 and 2. It looks like the 81 has compacted the wall. And our 4th caution of the night is upon us with about 7 laps to go in stage 2. Chris Wright has crashed and made his way to pit road. We may get a restart in before the end of the stage. It's going to be close. They crossed the start-finish line with 6 to go that time. Pace car will pick them up on the back straightaway. Replay for Chris Wright. And that last replay they just showed, he was already against the wall. Definitely looked like the right side tires were flat. I don't know if that was the cause of the caution or because he had made contact with the wall and it rubbed them. Practically raw at that point. But it's going to set up, I think, a dash to the end of stage 2. Should have a little bit of a dash here to the finish of the second stage. See if they open pit road this time by. Sooner they can open the pits, the sooner they can get this next restart in before the end of the stage, and pit road is open.
Did take off, like, it's still there. What's going on? There's a lot of smoke, and they're taping
Marathon
up
tape in there.
back glass here. They do have this issue.
The bracket's broken.
Braces there.
So Ross Chastain, meanwhile, up 3 spots. Honeycutt and Lane Riggs continues to be on pit road. Mechanic.
They're pop riveting these braces back in. They have the bare bond here. Was the back window falling out of it? It must have been. I guess they're afraid it would look or fall out of the truck at some point because, gosh, as fast as it was, I'd have a hard time wanting to fix this. See, the window brace is not secure. Nice calming voice.
I'm curious who saw that.
Terrible on the top. Probably, I would assume maybe the spotter, some of the guys on pit road, a lot of times that's binoculars. There you go.
That's going to block his whole.
Yeah, so much for looking at the rear view mirror.
Eyes.
Well, he's in the back. That's about the only place he's going to be looking right now. Josh Williams, his spotter, will be extra busy now on the roof.
So let's go back and see where this all started with Lane Riggs being pulled into his box.
Simply it's hitting on that rear window there. See right there, the flopping rear window brace. It's not secure, and I'm sure the worked down that it's going to be falling out. He may have seen it from the mirror. Actually, buffering a lot with the wind. Here they go. I mean, this was the plan all along. He's already got the pop ribbon tool in his hand. Here comes the bare bond. Lucky Dog's unfazed by it, smiling with his thumb off. Jeez. It's going to be okay, Joey. That's what the dog is saying. Well, man, it's tough to see it because he's got the fastest truck. Oh, wow. They must have been really concerned with the whole window actually coming out of the truck to have to go in and fix it like that.
Well, Lane Riggs has had to come from the back one time.
You know what's cool though? We're talking about flipping the stage. Everyone did, so there was no disadvantage. In fact, if you had stayed out, you'd have been in trouble because just a few of the slower trucks stayed out. I can't imagine that they won't pit and get out of the way.
Well, guys, it is officially the month of May, the best month of the year for all the great NASCAR racing and, of course, the Indy 500.
Yeah, we'll be doing live commentary for the Indianapolis 500 on Memorial Day weekend. Our third, actually, it might be fourth consecutive year that we've been doing live commentary for the Indy 500. I believe fourth, yeah, because this will be, I think we've done the last 3. We've only had 3 full years of live commentary content on the channel. I believe that has been the only non-NASCAR race I've done annually since then. ARCA now under the NASCAR banner, so we have done the Daytona and Talladega races for ARCA every year since then. We've also, as of the last 2 years now, I've done the Rolex 24 in January, so looking to run that back for a third year in a row next year as well. All right, so we've got a cast of characters up at the front of the field, and what I mean by that is drivers that we don't usually see competing at the very front of the pack. Dawson Sutton and Minnie Tyrell, the rookie for Dodge Ram, going to be on the front row for the restart. They stayed out of the pits trying to go for some stage points here in stage 1. And they're going to be on extremely old tires versus the rest of the field. So they'll be on the front row. We're only going to have a couple laps to go in stage number 2. Lane Riggs and his 34 team back on the pit road again as they continue to try to patch that back windshield to the race truck. That is a mandatory part to have to make sure that that is secured tightly, of course, by the end of this race. Don't want it to go anywhere, so constantly bare bonding that. Hopefully they can get it back out there before the restart. So only got to ride around for 2 laps, and then they can bring it back in during the stage break for more repairs. So 2 laps to go in stage number 2. Pace truck back on the pit road again. Sutton and Tyrell in row number 1. Row 2, Ross Chastain and Hayden Honeycutt. Carson Hocevar outside of row 3. Green flag back in the air. Up the middle goes Caden Honeycutt, nearly 4 wide, and they are 4 wide for about second place. Chastain squeezed on the bottom, big wiggle, hangs on to it. Backs a few more trucks up behind him, and several trucks wide out of turn 2 down the back straightaway. Mini Tyrell holding on for the lead for now as he's got Carson Hocevar blowing past him on the outside and up out of turn 4. Hocevar is going to be clear for the lead. Tyrell trying to hold on for second. Up at the front of the pack. Is he going to maybe challenge to the inside? Not really going to be able to have the pace to hold on with the race leaders. But if he can hold on for top 5 stage points, that's a great strategy for that 14 team to stay out and get these points after running at the back half of the lead lap. Sitting in 4th as they get through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. He's sliding way up the racetrack. Loses several more spots, but I still think he's going to end up inside the top 10. Green, white, checkered flag in the air yet again. And it will be Caden Honeycutt stealing stage number 2 here at Texas with Carson Hocevar back in the second place position. Oh, Fox's leaderboard was off. My bad. Carson Hocevar is a stage winner. I was going to say he got out to the lead on Tyrell there. Fox's leaderboard had Honeycutt in the lead for some reason, though. So Carson Hocevar wins stage 2. Caden Honeycutt ends up second in the stage. Giro third. Dawson Sutton 4th. Tyler Ankerman 5th. So Sutton holds on for 4th place stage points after being the leader on the restart. Mini Tyrell ends up in 6th after restarting 2nd. Then Grant Enfinger in 7th, Tanner Gray 8th, Chandler Smith 9th, and Andres Perez rounds out the top 10. Stage caution at lap 80 is out, our 5th caution of the night. We've had 3 for incident, 2 in stage 2, 1 in stage 1 so far. 6 lead changes, just over an hour of racing. 81 laps complete now out of 167. 20 laps worth of caution. About 25% of the race thus far. So stage 1 winner Ben Rhodes led every lap of stage 1 from the pole. Then Carson Hocevar, who was second at the end of stage 1, wins stage 2 one spot higher. Lane Riggs, the truck who looked just as fast, if not a little bit faster than Carson Hocevar, having some damage. Not really as much damage as it is just the back of the windshield. It was looking like it was going to fly off the race truck and had to bare bond that down. He was able to get back out on the track and stand the lead lap for the restart for a couple laps. He'll be back in for more repairs, I'm sure. He's in 26th now after contending for the lead before that second to last caution of stage 2. So very few trucks, I think, are going to come to pit road after that 2-lap green-white checkered dash at the end of the second stage. Should see Dawson Sutton and Mini Tyrell pit for sure, because they were the only 2 that stayed out. And maybe some trucks at the very back of the pack will come in to top off on fuel, but that should be about it. Alrighty. Couple trucks into the pits, Sutton and Tyrell as expected.
Great finishes in that stage.
Finish in the top 6. Got some valuable points there, so they'll bring it down and pit. Looks like Ross Chastain pits as side. Green flag on stage 3 next.
Alrighty. On to stage number 3 at the Texas Motor Speedway. We'll take a quick break here. You're listening live on KRC. Our full flag-to-flag coverage of tonight's race continues. Visual purposes, tonight's race on Fox Sports 1 if you are wondering, where you can watch this evening's action. You can vote for who you think is going to win tonight's Craftsman Truck Series race in our chat poll. No longer, I should say, because it is the end of stage 2. We are going to end that chat poll. 36 of you voted for who you think is going to win. 33% taking somebody other than Hocevar, Busch, or Chastain for the win. Only 11% taking Chastain. 25% of Kyle Busch, who is back on the lead lap after slapping the wall out in turns 1 and 2. A little bit earlier on in the race, came onto pit road for an unscheduled stop. Had a right front tire going flat. He made it back in the top 20 by the end of the second stage. So we'll still keep an eye on Busch. 31% have Carson Hocevar for the win. Other wins the poll, it was at 34%. I think Hocevar was down in the teens. But as this race has gone on and he looks to be one of the ones to beat, he is now up to 31%. So he picked up quite a bit, just finishing a close second in our chat poll for the race win here this evening. All right. When I come back from the break, I'll let you listen into a little bit more of the broadcast itself. Should be back here pretty soon from commercial. I might actually have to fast forward live onto the broadcast. Could be a little bit behind. I did have to pause it very early. Then I'm going to have to run down, get a bottle of water, and grab my phone charger.
Look, if you're an executive,
No, still under a commercial for the moment. Commercial time. All right, 14 likes away from our like goal here tonight. Be sure to hit that like button if you haven't done so yet. They are back from commercial now.
Legendary. Right now, you're sitting on the spot. I want to see the celebration again.
Well, why wouldn't you? You got the first pick. You got the fastest truck. That just makes sense.
Okay, Joey.
well, I think the fastest truck might be in the back of the pack now.
Look at you.
I'm going with the 34 Lane Riggs. Really, just because, well, one, he drives the Ford F-150. That's the coolest truck out there. But two, I would also say I want to watch him pass a bunch of trucks. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
We've seen
Well,
him do it already.
He's
Tonight,
already
right?
done it once, but I've got my eye on the cat that's running second right now, Caden Honeycutt. He's made his way through the field to the front, and now he's in a position to win this race. And by the way, he's from Texas. I can tell by the way he's racing that truck.
You've been, Michael's been singing this song literally since we got into the booth tonight.
Now,
I get it. It's a good song.
Yeah, it's a great song.
I've been hearing a lot of Big X the Plug too. Joey, never heard of him.
I'm learning all these new things tonight,
And
guys.
you're singing Ella Langley. She's got a song with Big X the
Well,
Plug.
see, you tune into the truck races, no telling what you're going to learn.
Yeah. Caitlin, let's get back to racing.
I enjoyed that music discussion. Okay, so I talked to Grant Enfinger earlier about how his season has been as a whole. He admittedly said it's been terrible for the results. He feels like the trucks are better than the finishes show for them, but he said we had a string of bad luck to start the season. But he said we definitely aren't where we need to be to contend for wins. But right now, close balance-wise, occupying in the top 5. Josh?
For the 45 of Ross Chastain, they felt like they finally got that truck dialed in, but during that last run, they got some damage on the right front fender. We're worried it would cause a tire to go down, so they came down the pit road to address that and pull it out, gave out that track position. It's some bad news for your guys' pick. The 34 was back on pit lane, so yeah, he's going to have to pass a lot of trucks if he wants to get that win.
Should be all right.
He'll be all right.
Now you
Couple cautions, he's going to work out.
All right, we're choosing. Honeycomb.
some reason the broadcast just turned away on my phone. I don't know what happened there. Also got my headphones wrapped around my phone charger. I don't know how I did that.
Cowboys. See, start using you back up here too. Yeah. So.
Clickerman, guys. Half the 25 truck. Starting from number 5.
And this run has been known at times to go green from here. And if it does, you'll have to have a green flag cycle at some point in pit. I don't know if it will tonight. I don't know if I don't have a feeling that it's gonna go green. That's been wild. And sometimes just off a feeling you kind of can guess, but I just think there's gonna be a yellow.
Ram on board. Brendan Queen. We saw Frankie Muniz with his on board. He got the free pass. So he will restart 28. Case truck. Taking that left-hander down to pit road. And here we go. 81 laps to go at the line. Carson Hocevar, Caden Honeycutt. Look at Tyler Ingram up there. Taking a peek to the inside, not quite. Hocevar with a monster restart.
Yeah, I don't know what my phone keeps doing, but it keeps I don't like it. Keeps cutting the broadcast off. It's twice now.
On the turn 1 trying to defend Ingram. It's not going to take Ingram long to understand that Hocevar's going to go where Ingram isn't. I mean, he's going to block all he can. So you can watch from the green lines from that 77 truck trying just
Saw Carson Hocevar almost snaking it a little bit.
Yeah, he's just trying to break that draft. He knows how big the draft is. Look how they just run right up on him. If he doesn't break that draft, he's just going to keep building that run more. So he's doing what he can to try to that off. But as a leader, obviously, you have no ground. So you're going slower than everyone else on the straightaway. Especially when tires are new and it's gripping it more. That's more wide open time. That's more the draft comes into play. Now you're going to have two trucks side by side here. Native Taylor Smith down this front straightaway. He's got to make a decision. Is it 3 wide? Is it push one through? What's he going to do? Wow, look at those trucks. A lot of patience there. Beautiful the way they flared into turn 1 there. 5 of them.
Tyler Ingram in the 18 hasn't led a lap yet this year. He's trying to get there. And there's Lane Riggs, Joey Logano's pick.
He's got a lot of work to do.
Up to 19. Daniel Hemrick in the picture there. Alongside Jake Garcia.
Lost some momentum there off turn 4 because of the truck that was dead ahead of him. But watch Lane. He goes up there where he saw Carson Hocevar.
Look at this, 3-5. Battle for second place right here. Just feet apart. Tyler Ingram gets out of it. Legero hangs on to it while Caden Honeycutt on the outside tries to reclaim that second spot. Third spot. We've seen racing like this all night long. So much to watch. Side-by-side action.
Cheryl did a good job at being able to hang on the top side of Cheryl there. They put it on his door pretty tight here, Michael.
It's a pair of teammates, too. You're really nervous in your yelder right now watching these two go at it. Kate really needs to swing a little bit higher in 1 and 2 and try to run that fine line. But, man, Gio's got some speed down there on the bottom, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
It's very difficult to complete those passes down low like that.
Yeah, you see Kate Hennigan just a little wiggle down there in 1 and 2 and just lost a little bit of ground and then Gio's able to clear him off the corner.
And Gio made the run up there at Carson Osabar. We've seen a few guys come and be turned away, but we haven't seen Gio make this run yet.
Carson Osabar up front, 6/10 of a second lead over Gio Ruggiero. The kid who like it when they're seeing action all over the racetrack. Plenty more still to come.
All right, side-by-side commercial break, I think, about to happen on Fox Sports 1. Carson Hocevar leads early going of Stage 3. Gio Ruggiero sits in second with Caden Honeycutt in third, Tyler Anker in fourth, and Chandler Smith rounding out the top five in fifth. 6 is Tanner Gray, Grant Enfinger in seventh, Stuart Fries in eighth, Ben Rhodes ninth, and Parker Kligerman rounds out the top 10. 11th is Ty Majeski, Kyle Busch back up to 12th. 13th is Andres Perez, Brandon Jones 14th, and Lane Riggs back to 15th place, up 14 spots since the restart. 16th is Daniel Hemrick, Jake Garcia in 17th, Christian Eckes in 18th, William Sawalch 19th and 20th, Dawson Sutton. Justin Haley in 21st, 22nd, Ross Chastain, Minnie Tyrell 23rd, Brendan Queen 24th, 25th for Clayton Green. 26th place, Tony Breidinger, Spencer Boyd 27th, Frankie Muniz 28th, Josh Ream 29th, Caleb Costner first truck off the lead lap in 30th, and Chris Wright in 31st had contact with the wall and a caution came out for it earlier. Connor Jones in 32nd, Corey LaJoie battery change is 33rd, Corey Roper and Colt Butcher both had spins tonight, they're 34th and 35th. 6 lead changes so far, 5 cautions, 25 laps under the yellow, lap 96 of 167 total in today's race. We are in the third and final stage. Our stage winners tonight, Ben Rhodes in stage 1. Carson Hocevar, your current leader, won stage number 2. 35 laps led for our current leader, Carson Hocevar. The most laps in the race other than our pole sitter tonight, Ben Rhodes, who won stage 1. He led all 40 laps in that stage. 41 laps led total for Rhodes. 16 for Brandon Jones, 2 for Dawson Sutton, and 1 for Minnie Tyrell, both on the restarts and under cautions late in the second stage, and they stayed out of the pits when everybody else on the lead lap came down onto pit road. And they were able to get some stage points for that, so it was a good call at that time, especially for where they were running in the back half of the field. All right, we'll take a quick break again. You're listening live, KRC. Full flag-to-flag coverage of tonight's race continues. Hour and 20 minutes in now.
Skip it. In Darlington, he passed 42 trucks. So far tonight, he has already passed 50 trucks and counting as he's working on Kyle Busch here.
17 game hard. Great for caution to really pull this off. Definitely has a very quick truck.
Then at the front of this field, Gio Ruggiero is going to have to try to figure out how to run higher than Carson Hocevar. He's going to tiptoe around up top and see if he can find anything there because he's not going to make it on the bottom. And wherever he goes, he's going to go there and block. We've seen that.
The nice run right here from King Honeycutt.
The air just messed up the 17 truck and Peyton right there to take advantage of it. He's got to move out of that air somehow.
He's been able to hang on there, so you know he's pretty good. Again, there you go. You see Gio got a little bit loose on that outside line. It's a little freer up there. You got to carry a lot of momentum. It can make you a little looser.
Kate Honeycutt, that 11 truck sets his sights at Carson Hocevar, 22-year-old out of Willow Park, Texas. This is the team, the truck that won last year here at Glory Heim.
Riggs is kind of fizzled out here. He caught Kyle Busch and can't do anything with him.
It's a battle for 10th, Michael.
running outside of the top 10 and 11th as we see the battle up front continue to look a whole lot like it has. People getting right to Savard, not being able to figure out how to get around them.
And one thing though, if you're Caden Honeycutt, right down a little there too, lost some momentum. And you got to think about you get to Carson Savard, you have to pass it quickly. Run side by side. We've seen it all night long. You're going side by side for a straightaway, maybe two. The third place truck, the 17 of Geo, he's going to just run it past both of you. He's going to go free wide and pass both and lap at you. You have to be methodical about this and really think about, since weaknesses, how can I make that pass as efficient as possible?
You made it happen. Another pass for Lane Riggs. He is now in the top 10 around Kyle Busch, working on Stuart Greason. He might get there, We talk about a green flag pit stop or a pit stop during this stage. We're talking about the racing action on the track. Think about those crew chiefs trying to strategically figure out exactly when they need to come to pit road and get those tires. We're in the window now where they can almost make it. So there could be some issues or some decisions made that could change the outcome of this race from the pit box.
63 laps to go. 50 to 55 laps. We will see another pit stop. The fans liking what they're seeing. Carson Husvar has now led the most laps tonight, 45 and counting.
You wonder what kind of race we're going to see here to the end. Are we going to continue to see a clean and green race, or will we have pit stops before the finish? Carson Hocevar leads the way with Caden Honeycutt sitting in second, Gio Ruggiero third, Tyler Rankin fourth and fifth. Rounding out the top five is Chandler Smith. Again, Grant Enfinger in the sixth place position. Seventh is Tanner Gray, Ty Majeski eighth, Lane Riggs ninth, Stuart Friesen rounds out the top 10. You're listening live on KRC. Full flag-to-flag coverage of today's race continues onward as we're in this final stage, and again, right around 60 laps to go at Texas. With green flag pit stops still to come. Very interested to see how this is going to shake things up here for the finish. Carson Hocevar leading the way. Honeycutt's been so close to getting that first career win in recent weeks of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. 2 off weeks to kind of ponder on that for a little bit longer, and maybe tonight's the night for Caden Honeycutt. Got a couple of watches from drivers trying to come from the back of the pack. Kyle Busch up to 11th after contact with the wall all the way back at stage 1. He fell a lap down and he got the free pass middle of stage 2 with a caution that came out there. And again, 11th place is where Kyle Busch sits currently. Lane Riggs in the 34 truck has made his way all the way up inside the top 10 to 8th place. 21 positions gained since the restart. Riggs, probably the fastest truck in the field. He is 6.7 seconds out of the race lead right now. Only a couple tenths out of the 7th place position of Tanner Gray, who's just up ahead of him for a spot there also. 1 hour, 26 minutes, 27 seconds and counting down, continuing on. And looking at our leaderboard, Lane Riggs now up to 5th place as he gets by both Tyler Ankrum and Tanner Gray over the last lap. Might have a couple trucks coming to pit road that could be affecting that running order just a bit. The fuel window's open to make it to the end of the race from here. Not a lot of tire fall off at Texas, so maybe trying to pit on the short side of that. Cycle through, get to the lead, maybe go fuel only. Leapfrog that way. Curious. Riggs up to 4th.
make up, but he's past a lot of the traffic, so he can open it up now and then hopefully he can make a little bit more time.
Crept inside of that fuel window, so if there's a caution flag, we can see a pit stop, and then the strategy that I talked about, the crew chiefs began to look at when they want to make that final green flag pit stop, if that's what it comes down to. I think with the speed we're seeing, I mean, they lost less than a second off their fastest lap times. There's not a lot of fall off in these Goodyear tires, so they might stretch it out a while.
Front, you haven't missed a thing. Carson Osamar continues to lead. Kate Honeycutt just behind him, 0.8 of a second behind. Gio Ruggiero, Lane Briggs, Chandler Smith, Briggs' teammate, behind him in fifth. What a night Briggs has had, guys. Starting in the back, because of an issue earlier today, drove his way all the way to the front. Then he had a bracket coming off, had 2 pit stops to repair that on the rear windshield, and he has just driven forward.
He definitely has. And, you know, he kind of stalled out here the last couple laps. He may have been past the lap truck here, and he didn't see. You know, he was 6.3 seconds. Now he's closer to 7 seconds behind. We should wonder what has slowed his pace down.
The times up front are just so close together. Within 1/10 of a second, the top 4 trucks. So it's hard to make much ground where that's the case. As you see there, Lane off turn 2, catching a slower truck.
This will check up some speed right here. Look at these chunks. That's the leader.
The 3 lappers at once. Here comes Kate Honeycutt trying to get around Tony Breidinger. Is running top 15 for Ram. He's in that free agency truck, and he just came down pit road. Joey, what's it like getting wound up and getting down to pit road here in green flag condition?
Well, it's definitely a place that you want to make sure the trucks behind you know you're going to pit, because it is a place that you can get in trouble quickly. The trucks are going so fast through 3 and 4. We talk about all the banking down there, how fast you're going through the corner. Everyone's right on the bottom, right? The fastest lane's right on the bottom for 3 and 4. And all of a sudden, the truck slams on the brakes, so going up to 55 miles an hour.
And the more experienced you are, the faster you can get to pit road, get it slowed down, and not speed on pit road. There's a lot of time to be gained getting to that speed line, making your way to pit road.
Hearing about 5 to 8 laps for our leaders. Carson Osamar, Kate Honeycutt. It'll be their last opportunity to fill up with Sunoco race fuel with 0 carbon bioethanol. See where everybody else shakes out. Been 5 different leaders tonight. Carson Osamar has led the most laps, 58. Ben Rhodes led 41 laps earlier. Brandon Jones, Dawson Sutton, and Minnie Tyrell also led some laps tonight.
These 7 trucks are so consistent. Last time 30, 59. The lap before that 58. So just solid, steady speed. How about that time by 30, 57? Each lap within 1/10 of a second of each other.
Yeah, really at this point, like you said, the top 4 structures, so they're all kind of pacing each other within a 10th or so, back and forth, probably depending on just traffic and how things are working around on whether who's faster or not. So everything's kind of gotten to where nothing's happening. But the pit stops are coming around the corner, and there's multiple seconds on the table on the pit road times, off of pit road, rolling pit road, and the pit stop, where we've seen a lot of trucks have issues on pit road tonight. One of them being the 77 at one point.
And also the tires. You see that 25 truck? That's Parker Quigley. He's running 27. He just drove around our leader, Carson Osamar. He had just come off pit road. So that shows you their speed there, the decision the pit crews make. And we're seeing one of our first leaders make his way to pit road now.
Gio Ruggiero and Kate Honeycutt on pit road, Caitlin.
Yeah, Gio Ruggiero telling me earlier, he said, I just have such good top 3 speed every single week, but we got to cross that threshold and actually get a win. Right now, he's saying just a bit free in traffic, 4 tires and fuel there for that 17. Josh.
Kate Honeycutt that got that stuff down there to where they just stuck it up a bit, makes 4 tires, and 4 to go to work on pit road.
Carson Osamar, the leader, coming your way now.
7-7, so he's complaining on everything you say. This guy, the 11 and 17, were putting the pressure on me. I need more speed to hold them off. So, but he can do that the rest of his way as he looks for his second career truck win here.
Hey, Josh, it's just all about no mistakes. The driver can't make a mistake.
Yeah, mistake on the right front here. This is what happens. Still trying to clock it to get down there. Finally gets it on.
Hitting all 5 lugs. Now they have to do the left side.
The tire carrier could not stud the right front. They kept
Wow.
trying to slow pit stop.
Huge moment for Carson Hosbar, who had command of this race.
You just can't have that happen on your last stop.
Chandler Smith is in, Caitlin.
Yeah, Chandler telling me earlier, just the driving momentum and strength of the team really did for win, but the feedback it gave to the team just now, just fighting tight as that run went on for the 38.
Lane Briggs, meanwhile, leads for the first time tonight. When will he pit?
Yeah, he's running it out. That's an interesting strategy. These teams have all kinds of analytics that tells them the best way to go about approaching this. We saw the speed of the tires. That when Parker Cleveland came on the road, how much faster he was than our leader, how long the lane leg it out. And you got to be careful also. You talk about a truck right behind you. When you come to pit road, he needs to make sure he knows what he's doing.
Definitely run this thing long. And they're thinking splitting it down the middle is going to be the fastest in the world. But you're going to have to pass all those trucks you just passed again. Because right now, as you're out there, look at how Ben Rhodes has newer tires. He drives right around them. That's a big tire difference, though. That's what 40-ish laps different on tires, 35 or so. So he's only going to have 6 or 7 lap newer tires. It's going to be a lot harder to pass him.
I want him to pit.
Me too.
So the top 12 have yet to pit. Meanwhile, guys, on the 77, Carson Hosbar pit stop 24 seconds.
Wow. That was way slower than even the first one they had. That was slow. Riggs is in.
Chasing that left rear makes me nervous, and I see that. Did he get it in the nuts? I hope he did.
Continue to shuffle on the pylon. Those have pitted, those who have not.
The first truck to pit was a 17. Giorgio, he and Caden Honeycutt, the same lap.
Yeah, that was only 1 lap before Carson Hocevar. Now, everything's going to cycle as it kind of goes through the pit stalls, or pit cycles here to understand where he's actually running. But what I see is the 17, I think, is going to cycle as the leader. Honeycutt's going to be second, and then it's going to be Hocevar. So he lost the lead and some time. We'll see how far back he really is. Looks like it's going to be almost 5 seconds.
That's about how long the pit stop was. Much longer it was than the other drivers. KD made that up. But what does Lane Riggs give up by running those laps long?
So Gio Ruggiero showing forth on your scoring pylon there. The 3 trucks in front of him have yet to pit. Caden Honeycutt right with him.
And Gio Ruggiero is going to be your cycle leader. It's an interesting thing you'll see now. Can Carson Hocevar run them back down? Can Lane Riggs run them all down with newer tires? A little bit newer tires, not a lot, but a little bit. Can that be enough?
Last time by, Ruggiero and Honeycutt faster than Carson Hocevar.
We also got to give it up to the drivers, Joey. We talked about no mistakes. They all made it to pit road, got down to the proper speed, and did it speed. That would be very costly and impossible to overcome at this point in the race.
We see so many getting pit road speeding penalties here in all three levels. So to your point, Michael, you're doing a great job tonight. So 36 laps to go here.
Phoenix last time by way fast. He was the fastest truck on the track.
Ty Majeski in the 88.
Oh,
Just Amos. Looking at contact there.
good save on Ross. That's outside the top 10. Certainly costly to these two. Watch.
Big time save.
Stay. Nice save.
Yeah, you get up out of the groove, man. I see no trucks up any higher than that, like 2.5 lane. And you see all the dust coming off the back of Ross's truck. It's dirty and slick.
Sutton shown as the leader. He has yet to pit. Ruggiero right there, ready to take over the lead for the first time tonight. 35 laps to go from Texas Motor Speedway. How will it end? He wants it to be Hosevar.
All right, we'll go over the top 5 on the leaderboard. Still waiting for Dawson Sutton to hit pit road, as Jamie Little mentioned on the broadcast before they just went to commercial. And now it looks like actually during that commercial break, Dawson Sutton will pit from the lead. So we're back to Gio Ruggiero out in front. Caden Honeycutt in the second place position. Carson Hosevar third. Lane Riggs fourth. Grant Enfinger now rounds out the top 5 in fifth. Kyle Busch up to 6th place. Chandler Smith in 7th. Parker Kligerman 8th. Brandon Jones 9th. Tyler Ankrum in 10th. Then Ben Rhodes 11th, Ty Majeski 12th, Stuart Friesen 13th, Christian Eck is 14th, Dawson Sutton 15th, but still in the pits. Tanner Gray 16th, Ross Chastain 17th, 18th, William Sawalich, Andres Perez 19th, Jake Garcia 20th, Daniel Hemrick 21st, Justin Haley last truck on the lead lap at 22nd. Brennan Queen first truck a lap down in 23rd, then Tony Breidinger 24th, Josh Reum 25th, Minnie Tyrell in 26th, 27th Spencer Boyd, Caleb Costner 28th, Frankie Muniz 29th, and Clayton Green 30th. Corey LaJoy in 31st, Connor Jones 32nd, Chris Wright 33rd, Corey Roper 34th, and Cole Butcher rounds out the 35 truck field. We are down to about 32 laps to go in tonight's Craftsman Truck Series race at Texas. SpeedyCash.com 250. 10 lead changes so far, 5 cautions. We haven't had a yellow in Stage 3. We have cycled through green flag pit stops. Hour 40 minutes or so into the race, and Ruggiero leads for the first time. He and Caden Honeycutt pitted a lap before Carson Hosevar, and a slow stop for the 77 team has put them back to 4th place after pit road sequencing has concluded. Lane Riggs just passed Carson Hosevar on track for 3rd place over the last lap or two. 26 positions gained for Riggs since the restart. He stayed out of the pits longer than anybody else of those inside the top 5 in the running order, so he's going to have fresh tires to try to overcome his 4.5-second deficit to the 2 Toyotas that are the top 2 in the leaderboard above him. And for Honeycutt, he's putting a charge on his teammate Ruggiero for the lead right now and needs to get by him quickly to see if he can keep his pace up, and still in search for that first career win. He's been, again, so close numerous times this season alone. Late last year, of course, making the championship 4 in his rookie truck season. 2nd year now in the Truck Series, first with Tricon Garage in the 11 that won the most races last year with Corey Heim, and a championship to go along with that. So the 11 team trying to make it back-to-back. We'll see what they can do. But Riggs is going to be tough to hold off. He was the fastest truck in the field probably all night. Second closest, I'd say, on speed has been Hosevar. The pit stop was for Hosevar being as slow as they were has dropped him out of the lead. And now, unfortunately, he has dropped back a bit. And I will say changes have been made to that 11 truck as well. They do look to be a little bit stronger. His lap times have been better than Hosevar consistently since they all left green flag pit stops, and they pitted, again, a lap earlier than that 77. So not only a slow pit stop, but maybe changes in the wrong direction for Hosevar. Or you could say that Gio Ruggiero and Caden Honeycutt made better adjustments to the race trucks, their teams, and staying ahead of the racetrack. Maybe a little bit of both, but needless to say, we'll see if they can hold on as of right now. We're on the Lane Riggs watch at this point. 4.1 seconds out of the lead. That last lap, he was 0.2 of a second faster than Ruggiero, 0.3 faster than Caden Honeycutt, who lost a lot of time trying to make a pass on Ruggiero for the lead. I've seen a lot of trucks get tight in the wake of dirty air and behind another race truck when trying to close in and make a pass, running the same line as another. Aero deficiency is probably the worst here at Texas of any mile-and-a-half track. It's just so slick. Razor sharp edge as far as where the fastest line versus a line where you're not going to go anywhere near as fast. You're going to be slipping and sliding around. Very, very fast mid-corner speeds. Turns 1 and 2, the banking a lot more flat than most of the other mile-and-a-half tracks on the schedule, kind of just working against these drivers lap over lap. Hard to get in a rhythm when you have two unique corners like you do here at Texas, and there are other tracks on the circuit that are like this as far as just unique from one corner to the next, but man, oh man. Here we go. Corey Heim, or not Corey Heim, Caden Honeycutt in the 11. Putting a charge again, but slipping up the racetrack through turns 1 and 2, loses more ground to Ruggiero. It's going to be really hard for Ruggiero to hold on for 25 laps with his teammate right there, and it's going to get even harder when Lane Riggs closes that gap because he will get to these top two. I don't know if he's going to have enough time to pass them, but he will get to them if he can consistently keep these lap times up. Big chunk gained for Lane Riggs that last lap, ran a 30.438 to Ruggiero's 30.923. That was a big, big slip up for the driver, the number 17. Coming to 24 laps to go. Big surge of momentum on the front stretch here for the 11. Oh, we got trouble. Tyler Ankrum has spun in turns 1 and 2 as he slides sideways. He's barely going to keep it off the outside wall. Oncoming traffic going to miss him to the inside, and here we go. Caution's out with 24 laps left. First caution of stage 3.
Tyler Ankrum will take a look at what happened to him in the 18 truck. He was running 9th at the time of this incident.
And Ben was in there. He definitely had position there, and
What a great save, though. He never quit driving that thing, kept his foot on the gas.
did a good job standing on the gas.
Wow.
Her tires just spinning. He's trying to drive down the racetrack the best he can, not getting out.
See what Majeski sees. He sees I better get home in a hurry. You hear him get in the gas? I went out of here.
I got to go.
So what is Gio Ruggiero thinking right now?
Oh man.
Yeah.
Probably had some other words that I can't say on TV, but yeah, he was in pretty good control of this thing to just keep doing his thing. So now, yeah, you're gonna have to have the restart of your life. But we've seen on these restarts, gosh, it's hard for the leader to get away. The leader just does not get that draft down the front straightaway, and you're gonna have a pack of angry wolves coming at you.
There you see people staying out. There's no new tires. Will someone try to get some fresh old ones? If I'm Tyler Ankrum after I pulled mine off over here,
God,
give me something on there.
They choose back in state.
Tires, when there's quite a few laps difference, does make the difference to take those versus staying out. But this late in the race and these drivers just pitting less than 20 laps ago, I don't think you can afford to come onto pit road, honestly. Give up that track position, expect to get it back, especially if we see restart after restart, which could very well happen. I would not be surprised because the restarts tonight, compared to any other race I've seen in the Truck Series this season, I mean, you tend to see them be aggressive, especially on these mile-and-a-half tracks, but it has been every bit of aggressive from quite a few drivers, and a lot of those drivers that have been the most aggressive, like a host of our rigs, have been up at the front of the field. So here we go. So Gio Ruggiero is the race leader. Caden Honeycutt in second. Lane Riggs third. Carson Hosevar fourth. Grant Enfinger in fifth place. Here we go. setting up for what could be one final restart. Probably going to have a little less than 20 laps to go when we do get back racing again. That's a long time for Gio Ruggiero to have to hold on. An extremely long period of time. And we've seen Carson Hocevar go 3 wide on the restarts 3 times already tonight. And all 3 times he's picked up multiple positions in one turn. Through turns 1 and 2. He's been masterful. And I think that's going to be something that could get him back into this race after that slow pit stop. Lane Riggs still has the fastest car. And he does have fresher tires than those that are around him. Having the heat cycle in those tires when we get to this next restart, it might not be as much of an advantage as what it was under the green flag conditions, especially for those first however many laps since coming out of the pits. But he pitted right at 40 to go. A lot of those other leaders pitted closer to 50 to go. So less than 20 green flag laps on Riggs' tires to this next restart. Maybe his fire off can be a little bit better.
Before even
Josh?
Hey guys, I thought the Kane Honeycutt before this race, and he talked about all the times he's been so close to finally getting that first career win. He's learned a lot from what happened in earlier races this season. He said he's been working on late race restarts. He said that is the next step for him. He's done it several ways. It hasn't worked out. He's been working with several people, including our good buddy Trevor Bain, on how to execute in these types of situations. People on the radio a little while ago complaining about that truck being just a little too edgy to catch the 17. Believes if he can get in front off of this restart, he has a good chance to hold on and get this win.
Doing a great job utilizing all those resources that are, on his fingertips now that he's with this team and has this level of influence.
Oh me, look who's there to take them 3 wide.
Let's listen to Carson Hocevar's radio.
See how loose it is.
I've never seen him get tighter.
Look at
Those are loose, they stay loose. They're the ones ready to go. Kane Honeycutt afterwards.
They are liking what they're seeing.
This is a good time right here in Texas. Wow, there is Carson Hocevar. If I'm Gio, I'm going to make sure I get to restart the and protect the bottom.
Protect the bottom the best you can. But the thing you know about Carson, if the middle opens up, he's going to try to put it there. So if you're Honeycutt, you got to stay on the door and keep everything closed off to where he got nowhere to go.
Smart thinks he has a loose.
This is not a wide racetrack down in turns 1 and 2, but a few of these drivers in row 2 of Carson Hocevar Lane Riggs may try to make it wide. Green flag back in the air, 19 laps to go. Great restart for Gio Ruggiero. Got a big push from Carson Hocevar, got him loose. 3 wide to the inside goes Hocevar for the lead. Coming out of turn 2 with that top spot is going to be Caden Honeycutt from the outside of row number 1. Still 3 wide, but it's for second place now down the back straightaway between Riggs, Ruggiero, Hocevar. Kyle Busch pushes his teammate Hocevar through. Carson's clear for second up out of turns 3 and 4, and Busch to the inside for third place, also 3 wide. Ruggiero still sandwiched, and the 34 still to the outside. Things are very tight on the front stretch, and as they go for turn 1, Kyle Busch is up to third after being a lap down at the end of stage 1. What a comeback for the 7, while his teammate in the 77 is going for the lead, but gets blocked to the outside. Busch to the inside for second now on Hocevar. Kyle Busch is coming strong at the front of the pack, and it's the old Kyle Busch back here at Texas Motor Speedway. He pitted the same lap as Lane Riggs and probably has fresher tires than those around him, which is aiding him on this restart. But a great job to drive back into 6th place before the caution anyway, and Kyle Busch is thriving right now. Although gets taken to school back through turns 1 and 2 by his teammate Hocevar, who blows right back past him on the high side. And Hocevar's into P2. Busch still holding on in third. And Caden Honeycutt, the race leader, with 16 laps to go this time by, trying to hold on for his first career Craftsman Truck Series win. Carson Hocevar has gotten off turn 4 better than maybe most drivers, if not all of them, all night long. Carries a huge head of steam down into turns 1 and 2. Huge wide of his arc into turns 1 and 2. Gets the clean air advantage to the bottom. He's underneath Honeycutt up out of turn 2. And a side draft down the back straightaway. Hocevar on the inside. Honeycutt going to try to pinch him off into 3 and 4. But Carson Hocevar is going to try to slide wide. Honeycutt stays strong on the throttle. Still there. Not there anymore. Hocevar is clear. He takes the lead. And here comes Busch trying to attack for second again. Blocked off by Caden Honeycutt. Looks to the outside. But here comes the 17 of Ruggiero with a second shot to try to get back inside the top 3. And he's not going to be able to get by Busch this time. Carson Hocevar is out in front on the restart. Caden Honeycutt second. Kyle Busch third. Fourth is Giro. And Lane Riggs on the restart falls all the way back to seventh. Hocevar slides up the racetrack. Maybe he might be dealing with a loose wheel. We'll monitor that. He hasn't been running as fast as lap times in this later going of the race since earlier on. This thing is far from over with 14 laps to go. Kyle Busch to the inside for second place on Caden Honeycutt again through turns 1 and 2, but unable to make the pass, and will have to settle back in line behind him. Middle of the back straightaway and headed back for turns 3 and 4 again. What a tight battle between these top 3, and nobody is getting away from one another. Hocevar did not get off turn 4 well at all that time. Huge block on Honeycutt. That slows the 11 truck down quite a bit, and Busch is going to get to the inside through 1 and 2. Middle of the corner off. Kyle Busch not quite clear yet, though, and the run on the high side for Honeycutt coming back again. Hocevar trying to break the draft on both trucks down to the bottom of the track, middle of the back straightaway. While the 7 and the 11 side draft each other, Kyle Busch should be clear up out of turn 4 for second place, and he is clear this time. And he is going to try to take after his teammate up at the front of the pack. These two finished 1-2 at Atlanta with Busch in the lead and Hocevar second when Busch got a win on a 1.5-mile track. Now it's Carson Hocevar trying to hold on. Huge pocket of that dirty air for Kyle Busch. That did not pan out well for him as he is going to get cleared by Caden Honeycutt for second. It almost looked like Honeycutt kind of cut across the nose of the 7. And Kyle Busch in that 11 car still hanging on the outside. We got a spinner up out of turn 4. One truck plowing the grass down in the infield as well. Stuart Friesen's around with heavy damage to the back of his truck. He's gotten against the wall in turn 4. And the truck that plowed through the grass, tearing the splitter apart, was the 9 of Grant Enfinger. 11 laps to go, and we're under caution again. My, oh my, oh my. Oh.
That's a shame. That's such a great watch. Great. I'm just like, hey, job missing. I'm like, that grass, man. It's been a nickel for every time I've seen the grass knock a truck off. Really, any kind of race car.
Watch this.
Wish they paid that someday.
So close for Lane Riggs, just avoids the 52. Grant gets a piece of that.
He makes an amazing miss right there. I think he's in good shape, and then
How good of driving was that by Grant?
Watch the way that Chandler Smith avoids this right here. This is the point that you're coming into this race.
Wow.
While they clean up this latest caution, the incident involving 2 trucks, both steady side. You don't want to go anywhere to finish in this one.
Crazy racing all night long here at the Texas Motor Speedway, and things continue to heat up with yet another late race caution and only about 10 laps to go here at the Texas Motor Speedway, with the two Spire Chevys of Carson Hocevar and Kyle Busch heading the field up at the front of the pack. In the second row for the restart upcoming, probably looking at Caden Honeycutt, Gio Ruggiero, third and fourth. Brandon Jones, Lane Riggs will be in the Row 3 area. Row 4 should be Ben Rhodes, Chandler Smith or so. Red flag has been displayed. We are going to be under caution for a lengthy period of time. Don't want to diminish any potential more green flag racing here late, so it looks like red flag. And it is very well possible that Splitter getting knocked off of the 7 truck or the 9 truck, of Grant Enfinger. He might have been leaking some fluids around the racetrack, so that could be a cause for concern as well. So under red flag here at the Texas Motor Speedway with 10 laps left. I mean, what a wild race this has been. And that last restart just went to prove it. I guess everything's wild when you head to Texas. Maybe more stays the same here in the year 2026. What a race. Got 38 likes on the stream. Our goal is to get to 50. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe for more NASCAR content along the way. Yeah, Kyle Busch is very much in this race. I don't think Hocevar's truck is as good as it was earlier. Whether it's the loose wheel or a bad adjustment, whatever the case, he has not been as quick. He was getting outpaced by Honeycutt and Ruggiero before that second to last caution came out, which gave him a shot on a restart to get to the lead, and he was able to take care of it. He's good for those first few laps when they fire off, but that's about it. But Busch has fresher tires around him, and then the 11 and the 17 have outpaced the 77. Hocevar is not the favorite on a long run. I do think this red flag hurts him maybe the most of those at the very front of the pack. That's more laps he's going to have to hold on. But he should get the initial launch. I'd be shocked if he loses the lead on this restart, honestly. Initially. In the first lap. I don't think he's going to lose it. Crazy stuff.
Welcome back to Texas Motors. Much oil and debris on the front stretch. So while they're sitting in their trucks, guys, Joey Logano just said that was the best map he has ever seen.
It was amazing.
Let's dial up Caden Honeycutt and see what his.
Sorry. Let's do it. Caden Honeycutt, Joey Logano up here in the Fox booth. You got me?
The draft, he just got back to me like it sucked me straight back.
I think I joined the conversation.
I'll try it again.
Maybe we'll try again. Caden Honeycutt, Joey Logano up here in the Fox booth. You got us?
Sir, I got you. What's up?
Well, we were talking about how that's the best racing we've ever seen, and it was absolutely awesome to watch. I don't know what your heart rate is at anymore. You having fun, number one. That's the first question. Number two, what do you got to do to finish this thing off?
Yeah, I hope that was exciting. He definitely tracked me off on fourth there pretty closely, and I was like, it's either die or live to fight another day. So I chose to fight another day, and just made a mistake right there. Just allowed Carson to get underneath me off of two, and then I got clear Kyle off of two, and then I gave him the top like an idiot down the back stretch. So just made two costly mistakes there. But man, I think if we get a good restart. Mix it up between these two. I think we can get us here one today at the home state of Texas. That'd be really awesome to get the first match. So we'll just have to work over the start and go from there. Just not have any mercy.
Yeah, man, all that stuff's behind you. Keep staying out the windshield. There's a lot of people out down here with no shirts on ready to party with you.
been to one of the competitors, getting ready to roll up his sleeves and do whatever it takes to go win this race. We're able to get in that truck and ask him what it felt like. I love how he reviewed what he did wrong. He knows that now. Let's make sure we do everything right and execute and get the victory.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're the last people he wanted to hear. I feel so bad. 'Cause I know exactly. I see both sides of it. I know, like when you're in the race car, you're like so focused in, you just want to stay focused in. And now I'm up here in the booth, and I realize, hey, the fans want to hear what you're thinking in there. You got to butt in, and it's a weird place to be, guys.
But I think that he appreciates the fact that he had a second just to share his feelings and help him sort of work his way through the emotions that he's going through.
That's what his team's for, Michael, not the TV broadcast.
Crew chief Brian Patty gets his thoughts placed in second, Caitlin.
Yeah, Brian, no stranger to crew chief truck races with Kyle Busch. What did you say to your driver, and what was the feedback he gave to you there?
He feels like he's got a shot to win. Obviously, got a little tire advantage. Pitting long seemed to help, but finally got the thing where he could drive it. It's been 2 hours of heck trying to get the thing balanced. So finally got it balanced. Finally got transition. And finally got some tire advantage. So hopefully the two teammates play nice.
Yeah, we hope so too. All right, that's Brian Patty, crew chief for Kyle Busch, trying to chase down win 21 here at Texas.
How cool is it though?
That's across all 3 series, of course.
They ran the truck all night long, and here he is, just doing Kyle Busch things.
Let's listen to Kyle Busch's radio from moments ago.
One of it for win. Yeah, take fun of it. Get the angry door. Very far down. Put it down. Down.
Let's make this a that. I
Here's
hear
the
me,
disclaimer. I said it, and now it's on you.
That's not how it's going to go down. They're going to race. I mean, we saw at Atlanta, great point, Jamie. Carson did push Kyle home, and he had a choice to go to the bottom and try to mix it up. Atlanta's a different animal, though, there with the draft, but I don't see it happening here. I think they both go for the victory.
Let's look at tail the tape between these two right here.
And I want to, before we look at this, or as we look at this, I want to tell you, those the only guy that has numbers that can get anywhere near Kyle Busch in the whole.
I mean, they're not far off.
In all the trucks.
Since 2023, they're both part-timers here because they race full-time on Sunday. Laps led, I mean, they're not. Carson Postbar not far off.
How many races
Three-year-old.
has he run? That's the one stat we don't have on here. Which one? Marks. Who ran more races? How many starts?
Come on, Joey, don't get the way.
I'm just saying.
Uh-huh.
Stat Guy Joe is all over it. He's going to let us know how many starts they've had between the two since 2023.
We have the best stat guys in all of NASCAR.
They certainly make us look and sound smart, don't they?
Well, they make us know what's correct and not. Joey Logano said the best racing he's ever seen. Let's look at some of this racing. Wow, what a great night.
In the past, I mean, second truck race here, there's been so much action. Look at this 2022. Stuart Friesen got it done.
Back under caution flag conditions. Red flag has been lifted.
Time looks familiar, looks exactly like the truck Caden Honeycutt is driving, and yes, it was time.
What are we going to see tonight after all the action? They're rolling.
This is a good sign.
Yeah.
Red flag has been lifted. 5 last lap passes for the win at Texas, most among non-drafting tracks.
I'm having so much fun. I just want to say thank you to NASCAR for red flagging it. I want to see every lap we can see to determine the winner tonight.
Yeah, they'll probably roll off. They're probably going to try to open pit road. Well, you already have. The light is green, so they're going to open pit road this lap. Hopefully, it's a quickie caution, and they can come around and choose quickly, so we can have as many laps to go as possible.
Just a note coming up after our race, the FIFA World Cup 26 preview series. That's coming up right here on FS1 on the conclusion of this one from Texas. How is this going to shake out? All right, so I picked Hocevar. Michael, you went with,
Honeycut.
and Joey went with.
Riggs.
I went with Riggs. And, Riggs had a good run going, and it's just that last restart, he wasn't in the mix.
Let's
He
not
just
count him out,
kinda
though.
fell back and wasn't in the top four while all these four trucks were racing the heck out of each other.
I think Riggs has passed 60, 65 trucks tonight.
It's a
Something
lot.
insane. Caleb, let's get a quick update.
Yeah, Gio Ruggiero been very impressive tonight, but he is still learning in various situations on the racetracks. The team obviously urging him to trust the guidance of his spotter, Freddie Kraft. Here's the radio.
Talk there. So just looking at last time these guys pitted, Kyle Busch has 5 lap fresher tires. Does that make much of a difference? Maybe ish.
It's small this late in the run. I just had a red flag to let them all cool off. Everyone's got cooler tires now.
I don't think it's that much of a difference, but if you ask those guys, could they pick who has which tires? Everybody would take the pit pressure ones just because it's so close. But I don't think it's going to be a factor. I think it's going to have more to do with pushing and shoving and mirror driving and contact than anything else.
Yeah, the choose here is going to be an interesting, and I don't know if we're coming to the choose here or not.
It's been a wild night. 7 cautions, 9 different leaders, 12 lead changes. Well, let's take a break right now to look at the recap of the night. Still catching our breath. It has been quite a race. This is what we talked about early in stage 1. Kyle Busch hard into the outside wall. He did have to pit right there afterward. Spent 36 laps off the lead lap. Kyle Busch with 99 gets stage 1 win. Cole Butcher ends his night early after starting 3rd in tonight's race for that rookie. And then Lane Riggs started in the back, drove to the front. 50 came in, realized that the rear windshield was loose, had to pit twice to get it fixed again. 77, Carson Hosberg been using that hand on the window a lot tonight. He got stage number 2. Lane Riggs slicing and dicing his way through the pack. Up to the 6th spot now. He's been a man on a mission. And then Tyler Ingram goes around with a little nudge for Ben Rhodes. And this was the last incident that brought out the red flag. Stuart Friesen goes around down pit road, and it was Grant Enfinger just destroyed after going through the infield grass. That in a race recap.
And in between all those wrecks and craziness, we saw some of the best racing ever here in Texas, anywhere. Just incredible the talent these drivers are showing. And how hard are they driving? Kyle Busch, the talent he is, has a thing get away from him. They're just right on the edge every lap.
Guys, Chandler Smith has been battling in the top 10. We saw him just avoid chaos in that last wreck that happened. He had a flat tire. He had to pit from 7, so starting quite a bit back. He's worth choosing officially.
Honeycutt followed Kyle Busch up to the top.
Which I like that. I think that makes sense. But maybe. The leader taking the bottom, if he gets a good push, he can surge up there. But if not, you're going to want to be on the outside. The outside is the preferred lane, so. But I think he also kind of pins himself. He can't go 3 wide bottom to try to get the lead. I don't know if 3 wide bottom into 1 actually wins the race anyways, because I think it might be a short-term gain into 1, but you're probably going to lose if you're on the very bottom off of turn 2.
And remember, we heard that Carson Hocevar and Kyle Busch are going to be nice to each other. We heard it. Let's see how that all plays out. I'll believe it when I see it. It's going to be crazy. 6 laps to the checkered flag.
Great aerial coverage brought to you all night long by Goodyear. Legends aren't born, they're proven.
Look at that.
And a couple of teammates on the front row. couple of Tricon Garage teammates on the second. And you have Brandon Jones, Lane Riggs up there. Row number 3.
What kind of restart does Kyle Busch get? We've seen Carson be very strong on the
Right, here we go after the red flag and the short time stamp, and we are going to get back to racing here. Probably great racing at that. Kyle Busch spins the tires on the restart outside of row 1. Green flag back in the air. Carson Hocevar, the control car on the inside, is easily going to have the lead down into turns 1 and 2. But Kyle Busch coming on strong with the second win after getting through the gears. Didn't fire off well, but a shot at it still nonetheless. 3 wide for second place is going to help Carson Hocevar out after making his car wide through the center of turns 1 and 2. Things are very, very tight down around the bottom of the racetrack for Brandon Jones in the 1, sliding around loose while the 17 and the 7 are still side by side for second, but clear of Jones, who lost a couple of spots. Caden Honeycutt gets back around him on the front stretch. Honeycutt pushes Kyle Busch at the end of the front stretch, gives him a little extra speed, but carries too much into the turns 1 and 2 area of the racetrack, slipped up out of the groove a bit, and Giro clear for second. Busch with a block down the back straightaway. Honeycutt going to get to the outside of the 11 after not being able to swing to the inside. And it'll be Honeycutt looking to take over third from Kyle Busch, and he does so successfully. Although Busch still hanging there on the inside, the 11 truck has nosed out the 7 back to the start-finish line, but I guess he's not quite clear. Giro digging hard to the bottom of the racetrack. Not quite clear on Carson Hocevar, the race leader, up out of the exit of the corner. Big time side draft down the back straightaway by Hocevar on the outside of Gio. Ruggiero with a win in the season opener at Daytona. 2 career wins. He's never won on a non-super speedway, and he's battling hard here for one. 3 laps to go at the line between Hocevar and Ruggiero, and they're slowing each other up because of the aggressive side drafting on both ends of the racetrack. Neither truck can pull clear. Caden Honeycutt in third is closing fast. And Lane Riggs back to the outside in a battle for the 4th place position with Kyle Busch. And a caution is out on the racetrack after another crash late. And this time it is Justin Haley in the 16. Jake Garcia involved as well. Big crash. I don't know what happened here, but it looked violent. Big hits all around.
Scoring has Gio Ruggiero ahead.
That's what you expect, Jerry, overtime.
I did expect this, yes.
Yes, we did.
And Gio Ruggiero is officially the leader here. Carson Hocevar second. Connor Jones, good to see him walking. After that big impact.
So he's
more frustrated than anything.
Garcia's truck is wiped out really bad. Back when the chassis is all squished into the rear tire.
See if we can catch a replay of what went on here.
We're in the wall already back there.
Justin
he's trying
Haley.
to pit.
I think out.
Oh, Justin Haley hit the infield grass and just destroyed the front end of that ramp.
What a mess.
Yeah, it looks like a very similar thing for Justin Haley that just happened with Grant Infinger.
Yep.
Grass. It rips the
grass is 2 for 2 and tearing trucks apart tonight.
The back of that 98 front of B2.
A lot of cleanup here. Caution is out for the 8th time.
Well, another truck involved, Tanner Gray. We talked about the good run he was having all night. The 15 truck
He's on pit road.
making his
Mark
way to his pit stall. Oh,
as much as we were expecting them to wreck towards the front,
is it a full moon tonight?
in the back.
I know some of your fellow competitors were talking about moons this week and how they have an impact on the grip level of the racetrack. Is that true?
no.
Are you buying into that? You don't think they're all just messing with you?
Briscoe talk about it, and I believed it. The wax.
All I can tell you is
It's a big moon.
with the full moon, things seem to get a little crazier for some reason.
Look at this full moon Friday night.
And what a beautiful sight that is.
It really is. And guys, we've got another restart still to come. While cleanup continues for the latest incident involving 4 different trucks and a lot of damage. We'll step aside.
Jeez. That was a big time error by Justin Haley. Grant Edfinger caught some air, but Justin Haley even more so. Under red flag for the second time now. And probably because of the lengthy cleanup on the front stretch from another torn splitter off the front end of a truck leaking fluid, and a chance for the safety officials to get out there and get this track clean and hopefully get back to racing here shortly again. Go look at the timeline. I want to see how long that first red flag lasted for. And apparently the timeline doesn't work on the truck series. Does it only work for the Cup Series races on the raw feed? Must be. Because I'm not able to access it at all. Well, we're going to go past the scheduled distance. We're headed to overtime. We're at lap 167 under red right now. Looks like they're going to add at least 5 laps because of the caution when we do get back to yellow again. So our last 2 cautions have caused red flags late in this race. 2 hours, 10 minutes is where the race is frozen again. 8 cautions now tonight, 13 lead changes, 35 laps under yellow. Gio Ruggiero leads at the standstill. Carson Hocevar in second, Caden Honeycutt third, Lane Riggs in fourth. Sue Brown, thanks for tuning in. Robert Christopher, thanks for tuning in. Pulling for Chevy. Good red flag decision. Yeah, I mean, this is the exact same thing that happened for the first red flag to happen, too. I think more of it is just how much fluid was leaked around the racetrack after a splitter basically tore apart and probably digging into the radiator a bit, leaking fluids. Haley driving all the way back into the pits like Enfinger did on the caution before that. Man, they're really honing in on this.
Teammates Giorgero right there in the middle. Just a great battle here.
Gio's done a great job knowing who's behind him, who's coming. I mean, sitting here planning it out, what we're going to see. I can't wait. But let's get an update right now and check in with Caitlin in the pits.
Yeah, Jamie, I'm with Jeff Stankiewicz, the crew chief for Gio Ruggiero. How impressed have you been with your young driver here tonight?
Yeah, he's done a really good job all night. He's growing and learning every week we do this, so he works really hard at it. Super proud of him. Some of the moves he's made out there, he's really gotten better with his side draft and doing a really good job. So we just got to execute this restart here. I think we still have a really good chance here. I got the 77. He's going to be aggressive like he always is. So I think if we can keep him behind him, we can win this thing. But regardless, what we've been telling him, even if we lose the lead somehow, we got to think big picture points day for us. So we've had a good point day so far with stage points, so we got to think that. But just regardless what happens, I want to thank everybody at Tricon, Toyota. Everybody's worked really hard to get us in this spot.
Yeah, what do you say to him in these moments to coach him and kind of help him with these different situations he's being presented with?
Yeah, just listen to his spotter. Freddie's up there, one of the best. He's doing a really good job coaching him. I just tell him, whatever Freddie says you got to do, don't think about it. Just move when he says to move. execute the restart. You know, we might get swarmed up here with those guys, but we just got to be ready for it.
Good luck the rest of the way. A very good showing so far from Shio and the team here tonight in Texas, Jamie.
Joey, what's that like? We heard the crew chief say, listen to the spotter. Just react, do what he said. Do you do that? I mean, the spotter's sometimes maybe a half mile away. Do you have that much faith? Is that what drivers do these days?
I mean, it depends on who your spotter is, right? And if you have a lot of faith in your spotter, you trust your spotter. I do. My spotter, Coleman, he's probably watching right now, so I better watch what I say. But yes, no, he is really, really good at his job. I consider him my best friend, so there's a lot of trust there as well. And we prepare together. We review films together, right? So there's the thought process is already the same. So if he knows what I'm thinking that I want to do, and he can give the right information to help me make that move when like the timing has to happen now. And so, you know, this is the time of the race though that the spotters, you know, I think early in the race they give a little bit extra space. They may call clear a little bit later, you know, and give it a little space for a long time. Now you're racing for the win. It's a green white checker. Yeah, you're gonna it's gonna be a thing. So this clears are gonna be tight. It's gonna be aggressive. The intensity level is gonna be really, really high. They're gonna be talking super, super fast. So you're gonna have to try to just listen to all of this, process it, and react as quickly as possible.
Would you like to be able to, at times, share with the folks at home all the prep you do? Whether it's going over film with these guys, the spotters, talk to your crew chief, your engineers, everything that goes in to having success on Sunday afternoon. There's a lot that goes into it.
Oh, well, it's just small details now. That's just the name of the game, right? Everybody is so good now, like at all levels, but I mean, especially the cup level, right? It's the best of the best. Everybody is up there, and it's hard to find an advantage anymore. You used to be able to find little things, and oh, this could separate me from the field. Well, then they watch it immediately, and the next week that advantage is gone. So whether you're a driver or you're a crew chief or an engineer, designing the cars, coming up with the setups, all these things, the amount of time you have an advantage is so short now, so you constantly have to be looking for the next thing or looking at what your competitors are doing so you can figure out how to beat them.
And when you're sitting there, real quickly, we were able to talk to Kate and Honeycutt. What's going through your brain? They're rolling off now. Are you just thinking about all the moves that you have to make in order to go win the race?
Yeah, you want to make sure you have all the details completely, like, you don't want anything blindsiding you. You want to know what's coming your way as best as possible.
So we looked at the red flag, caution is displayed. So this is before the crash that brought out the last red flag.
Yeah, the 98 didn't know he was 3 wide and he squeezed 15 into the wall. That sort of started that mess. And then all the things that were going on up front.
Look at me hit back there.
Yeah, it's interesting. We don't see red flags very often, and we've seen 2 tonight. Oh,
He's got a left front down, and he's trying to cut that pit road.
and then he got clobbered.
Yeah. That wasn't a good
You got to stay on.
Oh!
Golly, that's a big hit to the outside wall for Justin Haley.
I saw Justin Haley get out and walk to the ambulance to be checked and released. All drivers will go to the infield care center. So here we go. It's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series overtime.
Overtime. That's fun to say.
Here we go. It's a 2-lap shootout. If the leader takes the white flag, the next flag ends the race. Caution or
Tyler Burke, welcome in.
flag. Caution prior
William Walton Jr., welcome to the stream.
Restart.
Austin Fuller,
Again.
Gregory Bradley,
Definitely know about
Billy Kramer, and others. Lou Man.
There it is.
Four checks in a lap. Spot.
Think about the different scenarios here, the different agendas, right? You've got Gio Ruggiero, we just heard from his crew chief, he talked about points. We got to be smart. We can't just throw caution to the wind. Then you got Hocevar who's like, screw your points. I'm here to win the race.
Right.
And you got the same thing with Kyle Busch in there as well. So it's a mixed bag up front.
Caden Honeycutt wants to win at his home track worse than he can see. And then Lane Riggs has been to the back twice, and here he is in a position to win the race. There's so many great stories.
And so the choose. I like talking about the choose. When it comes to that, I don't think they're choosing this lap. I think it's the next one. But what do you do?
It's so fun to as a racer be able to stand up here and watch the decision who chooses where and see how that all turns
Now,
out.
Honeycutt has the spot where he has the option, right? The first option, right? Because the first two are going to take front row. He took the outside last time. And I don't know if it was as good as he hoped it would be.
And I was going to ask you, the bottom looks like it's launching better. We've seen that. Hostbar was down there. He got a big start. Now we're going to see if Ruggiero takes the bottom. Is there an advantage starting on the lower side? We see that at times.
I don't know. Like, I mean, some trucks may just accelerate better than others or time it better to make it look like that. I mean, there is a little shorter distance, right? Because you got these double dog leg down the front straightaway here. So you got to think there's a little shorter distance to give you a little bit of an advantage.
Did you guys see that? The last 20 races here in Texas, only one first-time winner, and that was Carson Hocevar in 2023. See if we can do it again tonight with that guy.
That was his first career win, if I remember correctly.
Great stuff. So me and Joey just stand up when they start coming toward the choose. I mean, that's how much we're into this, just to see who chooses.
That was a wild race that day, too.
Start taking the inside this time.
Well, I just feel like that bottom line it's been really the first line so far. We'll see if you can make that happen. But Honey could give him that big push. Kyle Busch took the outside, as you see. Well.
Here we go again.
This is going to be good.
All right, well, this restart, we're only going to have 2 laps to go. We are in NASCAR overtime, first attempt at which, and we will have 2 laps to settle the score. Race leader gets to the start-finish line the next time by for the white flag lap. The next flag will end the race. That means if we get a caution on the white flag lap, the race is over. If not, obviously we get to the checkered flag once the white has been displayed. So here we go. Finish of the SpeedyCash.com 250 from Texas Motor Speedway. And it's going to be Gio Ruggiero and Carson Hocevar on the front row. Ruggiero elects the inside of row number 1 as a control car, and it'll be Hocevar on the outside. Row number 2, Caden Honeycutt, Lane Riggs. In row 3 back there, Brandon Jones. And don't forget about Kyle Busch on the outside. Green flag is back in the air, 2 laps to go. Can Gio Ruggiero get his 3rd win of his career, 2nd of the season? And Hocevar trying to go for his 1st of the Truck Series season as well. Hocevar's been the best on the restart so far today. Caden Honeycutt trying to get clear of Lane Riggs for 3rd place, but he's not going to be able to do so. The front 2 rows are still side by side. Kyle Busch back to 6th place. Jones got by him initially, but Busch back to the inside for 3rd again. Tightly on the door of the leader is Carson Hocevar. Big slide from Gio Ruggiero. Great save. Lane Riggs to the outside. Honeycutt to the inside for 2nd. They're 3 wide. Hocevar's got the lead into turn 1 on the final lap. And they're still 3 wide for 2nd place, and they all make contact with one another. Ruggiero sliding sideways and trying to save it. Kyle Busch gets through to 2nd. Gigantic lead headed for turn 3 for Carson Hocevar. Winner for the first time in the Craftsman, or in the NASCAR cast. Let me repeat that. Winner in the NASCAR Cup Series for the first time ever last week in Talladega. He's going to win this week in the Truck Series race at Texas. Carson Hocevar, your race winner. 2 weeks in a row. Kyle Busch is going to get the 2nd place finish, the 2nd 1-2 finish for these 2 this season. First it was Busch, Hocevar, and tonight Hocevar, Busch. Funny how things work out that way. Next question is, are we going to see the victory celebration that Carson Hocevar did last week this week? I don't know how the truck sits. The door might sit up a little higher in the Truck Series, so I don't know if he's able to do it. I know the fans are going to want to see it. Hopefully all goes well. Carson Hocevar gets the win. Kyle Busch ends up with a second place finish. 7/10 of a second margin of victory between those two. And a 1-2 finish for Spire Motorsports for the second time on the year. Both a mile-and-a-half tracks, Atlanta and now here at Texas. Caden Honeycutt finishes third. His teammate for the night, Brandon Jones, in fourth. And Ben Rhodes, the pole sitter, rounds out the top five in fifth. Sixth place was Lane Riggs. Seventh for Daniel Hemrick. Christian Eckes, eighth. Ty Majeski, ninth. Chandler Smith rounds out the top 10. 11th for Parker Kligerman. 12th was Ross Chastain. Brendan Queen in 13th. Gio Ruggiero 14th. Tyler Rankrum 15th. Dawson Sutton in 16th place. 17th for William Sawalich, first truck, one lap down. So we had 16 finish on the lead lap. Tony Breidinger ends up in 18th place. 19th for Stuart Friesen and Spencer Boyd 20th. Minnie Tyrell in 21st. Josh Reaume 22nd. Frankie Muniz 23rd. Caleb Koster 24th. And Corey LaJoie 25th. Clayton Green 26th. Justin Haley 27th. Tanner Gray 28th. Jake Garcia 29th. 30th was Andres Perez. Chris Wright 31st. Grant Edfinger 32nd. Connor Jones 33rd. Corey Roper 34th. Cole Butcher rounds out the 35 truck field. I believe Hocevar led the most laps in tonight's race as well. 76 laps led. Yeah, it wasn't even close. Ben Rhodes led for 41, second most from the pole. And those were the two stage winners tonight, too. Ben Rhodes, stage 1 winner. Hocevar, stage 2 winner. 2 hours, 17 minutes, 4 seconds total time on the race today. And that was not including the 2 red flags that we had, both in the late going and overtime finish. So we did go past our scheduled distance of 250 miles and 167 laps. 14 lead changes, 8 cautions. 3 of which in the final stage 2 and stage 2, 1 in stage 1, the 2 stage breaks at lap 80 and lap 40. 39 laps of yellow. That's the race statistics. Here's your race winner, Carson Hocevar.
It's been for you. Get your first career cup win last week. You follow that up, coming back, getting a win right here at Texas, where you got your first career Truck Series victory. And the fans right now all chanting your name. What is this moment and this week been like for you? I mean, it's unbelievable. Thank you, everybody. It means a lot. I'm gonna go burn down Chili's. I can't leave, so we gotta go burn down Chili's here somewhere. I don't know where it's gonna be, but everybody on the fence, thank you. Man, what a fun race. We had to reverse order. Obviously the 1-2 with Kyle. So, I watched him win a lot of truck races, and it's finally good to put an end to his Texas streak. Up this race for you, because I know at one point you were worried you had a loose wheel and then you got to line it back up, you had to restart, of course you have to hold out the 17, you got to hold out Kyle Busch, your teammate, like you mentioned. What was ultimately the difference maker for this 77 team? I mean, the cocky answer would be the difference is what's in the seat, for sure. But we were really good on restarts. These guys do a really, really good job. It's been a struggle on the truck side. But it's so thankful to get it done here. With out east, I saw him. Great to do it though with Spire and Jeff. We get a 1-2, but ultimately, thank you everybody for staying. I'm gonna go burn it down a little bit more. Chris Hocevar, your winner at Texas.
Kyle Busch with a strong showing here in Texas, finishes second. What more did you need here out of the 7 at the end, you think?
We had an eventful night. It didn't start off very well. We just really, really loose and made a lot of adjustments to get it close. And when we put tires on our last set of tires there, we were really fast, felt really good. Finally felt in the racetrack and better, so that moon thing doesn't work. All night
Brian and the guys made a lot of good calls to get us dialed back in. So thanks to HendrickCars.com. The Silverado would have been nice to be in victory lane, but it's good to have a teammate in there and have him get his shot. I got one, he got one. So now we're even there. But thanks, Dan. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Rick. Appreciate everything, and let me go out here and have some fun.
Thank you, Kyle. Kyle Busch with the top 5 here at Texas, guys.
All right. Carson Hocevar with a second burnout on the front stretch here at the Texas Motor Speedway in the Craftsman Truck Series. He wins the SpeedyCash.com 250 from Texas. We'll be live a few more times yet this weekend. Live commentary for 2 streams tomorrow, 1 on Sunday. Our next live commentary stream will be scheduled for 12:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow afternoon. That will be Cup practice and qualifying. O'Reilly Racing after that at about 3:30 p.m. Eastern. And then we will also be live for the NASCAR Cup Series race Sunday afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern, beginning with our pre-race show there as well. You can check the community tab for more on that. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a good rest of your Friday night. Subscribe if you are new. Hit the like button on the stream if you haven't done so yet. All that helps the channel out and much more. See you guys tomorrow. See you guys Sunday. Have a good rest of your Friday night, everybody. Congrats, Carson Hocevar, winner tonight at Texas.